Hey everyone, you're listening to 4Player Podcast, a weekly live show about video games. We hope you'll stick around for another year of gaming discussion, fantasy critic hijinks, and of course, general shenanigans here at 4Player. Before we start this episode, we want to send a thank you out to everyone who listens and give a quick welcome to any newbies. I'll try to keep this short because this is, and always will be, an ad-free show. We've been at this since 2008, so if you like what we do, please subscribe and leave a review on your preferred podcast service. Join us in our Discord at discord.gg/4player, or, if you're so inclined, throw us a couple bucks a month on Patreon. We record these episodes live every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, all spelled out, and episodes hit podcast services on Friday morning. You can find all the links you need at 4playernetwork.com. But enough about that, let's get started.
We got a great
Hey everyone, welcome
for you.
No, you're not. You're fucking not sorry. No, you're not. Don't fucking lie.
I'm sorry. Hang on.
Take
I don't have my
ownership of what you did.
I don't have my camera on. I'm sorry. Hang on.
Fuck, the timing on that was just
Oh,
impeccable.
it's crazy, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Real
calm
quick.
down.
Let me just get this party started, then I'll turn you loose. All right. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 838. It's June 17th, 2025. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined tonight by Brad Simons,
Hello.
Christopher Guthridge,
Hello.
and Christopher Davis.
You know, I drove an hour to Round Rock to pick up this fucking hat because it got delivered to the wrong address.
Wait.
And I can't anymore. I gotta take this off. It is squeezing my
What?
head. My head is too big
What?
for this
It's
fucking hat, and I
adjustable.
hate it so much.
Is it
Also,
not
I-
adjustable? Is it not
Oh,
adjustable?
Also,
It's-
you
oh, yeah,
can't
it's
wear a hat.
fully
I'm
adjustable.
oh, Chris Davis, you got a fucking melon, man. It's
I got
cool.
a fucking
got a
melon.
big
I
head.
hate it.
fucking big brain over here.
He's on the last fucking nipple. Not even like two
Yeah.
of the last
Yeah.
nipples. The last nipple. And
I will tell you,
Yeah, you could just-
I had to Google before the show snapback hat extender. And that is a product that evidently exists.
Oh my
I mean, yeah, because
God.
you're not the only person out there with
when
a melon head.
you can't just get the hat in a bigger size. Is it because
No.
it's like from Japan and they don't have heads like
That might
yours
be
over
it.
there?
No, I ordered it from Big Bad Toy Store, and it said
Dude.
one size fits most, and evidently
Yeah,
I'm
Big Bad
not
Toy
most.
Store gets all their shit from Japan, don't they?
Okay. To bring us back to the topic, since you cut me off by starting the podcast, just
How dare
Crispy,
you, Nick?
listen to this.
Yeah.
Crispy,
How
listen to
fucking
this.
dare you?
Someone on
Okay.
Twitter asks. Someone on Twitter tweets at Matsuno and he says, "Would be nice to see you and Yoshi P's team working on a standalone game somewhere in the future." This was last September, right?
Yeah.
And he responds, "I don't think so." By the way, he is working with Yoshi P's team on this Final Fantasy Tactics
don't
remaster, by the way,
think
currently.
so.
He says, "I don't think so. I presented some proposals to him before, but he did not adopt them. Therefore, I do not see any possibility of working with him in the future."
No.
That is the
fucking
most,
He
like-
just
way.
said that. He just said that on Twitter.
Yeah,
That
but
is like the most
that's-
open book answer I've ever heard. I feel
Dude,
like
that's-
no beat around the bush bullshit. Just
That
wow.
has to be a translation thing too, right? Like
Well, his English is not like his native tongue, I guess.
that's what I'm saying. Like I think he's just like, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like
So you know how he says all he does is play like Final Fantasy 14, which he is admitted to.
yeah.
Someone says, this guy's response says, "Oh, I see. It's a shame, but I understand. In the end, a lot of factors come into play. Yada yada yada. Still cherish." And yeah, he's just glazing them, right? And
Yeah.
Matsuno says, "Unlike before, I'm not as obsessed with creating my own games. In fact, it's easier for me to play games than to create them."
Dude,
laughs.
hell yeah.
Thank
We
you.
got another one. We got another one. The gamers reclaimed another one.
But Jaeger assured him it wasn't a lifestyle
Dude,
game.
that's like Martin Scorsese being like, I just want to watch movies now.
Dude, that's exactly what happened.
I just want to watch movies. I'm sick of making them. I think the best ones have been made. I'm gonna watch those. Like, that's
Wow.
crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna piggyback on that for a second as like a little segue because I wanted to just quickly mention the situation I experienced this past weekend because I went to see an excellent movie in theaters.
Which one?
I went and saw Life of Chuck. You haven't heard of Life
Is
of
that,
Chuck?
dude?
What? None of y'all here heard of Life of Chuck? Oh my god!
I've heard of
okay.
it. I know it's
Dude.
about dealing with death, and that's exactly what I needed in my
Low-key-
midlife crisis.
No.
Am I
Seriously,
playing Metal Gear Survive?
look, listen, buddy. I'm like, my anxiety that I like actually have like been in therapy about is related to like anxiety over like the inevitability of death and shit, right? This whole movie is about kind of like talking about the inevitability of death and like bringing you to terms with it in like a really beautiful way. And it's based on a short story written by Stephen King, directed by Mike Flanagan, starring Tom Hiddleston and a bunch of other recognizable people. Very, very, very good movie. But like the reason I wanted to bring it up was because to the point of what Chris Davis just said, because it's a movie about getting comfortable with the idea of death. And it was like really helping me. I was like, oh my God, this movie is it's like healing me in a way that like therapy has not really been able to heal me. And I was like, that's kind of amazing. And at like 90% of the way through the movie, right, there's this like beautiful scene where he's like he's as a young boy, the main character Chuck is having a conversation with his teacher, like a middle school teacher, and she's trying to explain to him why you shouldn't worry about death. Like, it's inevitable, it could happen at any moment, so there's no point in being concerned about it. And I sat here thinking to myself, like, man, she's right. Like, it could just happen at any time. And like, I might not even see the end of this movie. And then a minute later, the power went out. And
you're like, oh God!
And I still haven't seen the end of the movie.
Did you get a refund?
But let me tell you, no, they gave us a rain check thing. So,
okay.
But I think it's going to be out in streaming like within a couple weeks. So we're probably just going to wait till it's streaming and watch it then. But they gave us a rain check thing. But like, my point is, fucking fantastic movie. I have no idea how it ends, but like easily one of my favorite movies of the year. So
you still haven't seen
highly
the whole
recommend.
thing?
No, I like it. This happened on Saturday.
What if the ending is like like he was
it?
learning the wrong lesson? Nah, just
no.
kidding,
Like,
what if it
you can kind of feel you get a feel for like kind of where it's going, and like it's a comforting movie, I suppose. Like, it's supposed to kind of like, I don't know. The point is,
I mean, that's really interesting, Nick. I honestly, I know, like, you know, I'll say things kind of flippantly a lot where I'm like, you know, we all die one day, and you always have like a, oh God, kind of reaction. I honestly didn't know that you.
Oh no,
had that kind of anxiety about it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's one of those things that like I've for whatever reason over the last 2 years I've just been struggling with.
Nick,
but
you know, it's all of our waters return to the well one day, you know?
Yes.
And then one day, when we have enough of the water, the Lisan Al-Gaib will change the face of Arrakis into a green paradise, and we shall all dwell forever in the eternal green.
You know, I feel like I should just kind of let you transition into talking about Dune Awakening right now, because it would feel like a missed opportunity if I didn't let you. I will say this: we have a lot to cover tonight because we didn't do a podcast last week, and we hung out and watched a bunch of game trailers. So thanks everybody who tuned in and just hung out with us. It was a great time. But yeah, we haven't really talked since the Switch 2 launched. We haven't talked since Summer Game Fest. And you know, Brad's played a demo of Mina the Hollower. So like, things
he needs to get off his chest.
Oh really?
Things have happened.
There's a lot of really good demos in the Next Fest. A lot of like the bangers from SGF are just in Next Fest.
But to that point, I want to remind everybody on this call tonight that we had a lot to cover, and we will get to it all. I think I'm going to save like the Summer Game Fest and Switch stuff for a little bit later. But right now, I'm going to let Crispy talk about Dune Awakening.
Oh, you're going to start with my game? Okay.
Yeah,
you're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The litany against.
He tried to get us to play this last week instead of doing trailer talk.
I did, and Nick was too cheap to do it.
Yeah,
I was
it was pretty cheap.
I said, fine, I'll do it myself, and I whipped out my credit card.
And here we are.
So, wow, I don't know what to say, man.
It's Dune.
It is
survival
Dune.
game.
It is Dune as fuck, and like, I went super hard on this over the last 72 hours. Like, damn. I think of the last 70 hours, 30 of those are this game alone.
Jesus.
And I mean, that's at least 2 like 10-hour sessions. Like,
and this game is reviewing pretty well, which is kind of
It's
like I was
reviewing
kind of
well.
surprised
Like,
to see how it's doing.
it's a survival crafting action MMO, so there is some weirdness. You know, there is some roughness around the edges that you might expect to encounter in such.
All
a
of
title.
those genres independently tend to have some rough edges. So when you combine them all,
I have
together.
heard nothing good about the combat.
I'm seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of people say they don't like the combat. I do like the combat. I think the problem is that, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think, and people are gonna be like, oh, well, we can want good things always, you know, I guess. But, like, you know, maybe things like Dark Souls has, like, broken people's brains a little bit as to, like, what is acceptable for, like, what genres. Like,
Souls
this is
were the worst thing that could possibly happen to the industry, yeah.
No, I don't. I will never say that. But
You're a
like,
monster,
maybe
Christine.
we've had it too good for too long, or, like, you know, like maybe our priorities or the way we, you know, the way we
Maybe we're
decide what is
spoiled.
good and what is bad is a little too narrow. You know what I mean? Because, like, I think the combat in this, it is not very deep, but it is good for for the game it is in, and it is genuine. Like, it's fun once you figure out what is going on with it, and it also, like, kind of preserves the unique aesthetic of the setting. Like, the combat is based around concepts they talk about in the book. Like, like how you use your shield, how you fight somebody with a shield. Like, that's all really important. And, like, just like in the world of Dune, like, because shields exist, melee is a more important part of combat than, like, ranged combat is, right? Like, ranged combat, you have the safety of distance, but your shields drop when you fire your gun because they have to. So, like, if you're shooting somebody who's shooting you, you're making yourself vulnerable. But if you can close that gap and you have a good enough shield, that might actually be safer than, like, trying to take on somebody from a distance. You know?
Yeah.
The thing, like, the mechanics, like, the stuff in the game that they give you that is, like, unique to Dune, that is, like, that was not envisioned by Denis Villeneuve in his movies, but, like, kind of given, like, the modern visual language.
styling.
Right. Like that stuff is all done really well. Like, like, you've been seeing me, like, float around like I have a suspensor belt, right? Like, you know, like how Baron Harkonnen just kind of, like, floats around everywhere, or, like, those scenes of, like, the Sardaukar and the Harkonnen troops, like floating, just, like, kind of silently, like,
that creepy
you do
shit.
Like, you do shit like that in this game, and it's sick. You do shit like you have to use slower, stronger strikes against shielded opponents because the slow blade penetrates the shield, you know? And when you do it, it looks like in the movie when someone's doing it, and then, like you like, rack up against the shield, and then the shield starts reacting, blah, 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 and it's, like, turning from blue to red, and then you cut through and, like, kill them. Like, it's so sick.
I feel like this could have so easily, like, if this was like a cash in, like, I think a lot of people were maybe expecting it to be a cash in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
and like,
they could have
one
easily
that
just
is...
dropped in regular third-person shooting mechanics and not even, like, bothered to, like, really dig deep into, like, the lore and shit, but it sounds like that's not the case.
Dune also exists in that same weird bubble that, like, Lord of the Rings exists in, where, like, it's almost too important to just be, like, Star Wars or Harry Potter or something.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, like, elevated. Like, it's a material that's been around for a long time that people have, like, really connected with and, like, have studied academically. Like, Lord of the Rings especially. Like, there are academics, like English scholars who...
Brad went to Lord of the Rings college.
Yeah. Like shit like that, right? And Dune is, like, pretty much almost there. Like, Dune is basically the science fiction version of that, right? Like, in terms of its place in our society. But they're also still, like, media properties that, like, corporations put out video games and, like, animated movies and shit about, right? So it's not quite the Avengers, but it's also not quite, like, but it's also kind of sharing space with, like, Shakespeare and Gilgamesh and, like, important like works in the like English language, right? Like it's weird.
It's kind of wild.
So I think there's
about it.
I think there's like a lot of skepticism no matter what, whenever a Dune anything comes out or whenever a Lord of the Rings anything comes out. And we've seen this before, right? Like Shadows of War would probably be a universally loved game if it wasn't Lord of the Rings, you know? Like I don't know. Like even fucking what was that? Return to Moria, right? Might have done better if it wasn't Lord of the Rings. But also kind of like Return to Moria, this game seems to have been devised by people who at least kind of get it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Mines of Moria, or Return to Moria, I don't think, like, from what I've heard, the gameplay is kind of like whatever, but, like, a lot of people have said if you're legitimately, like, into Lord of the Rings, this might be cool, because it kind of, like, extrapolates on the lore a bit.
Taps into the lore in unique ways, or...
This does that as well. Like, the conceit behind this game, like, the opening cutscene is Paul Atreides talking about visions that he's had, right? And like in the book, in the books, like these visions, he's always talking about like seeing all the different like possible futures, like all the different possible timelines, and he has like a narrow path that he must walk, that he must guide humanity down, and there's only like one chance, and every other outcome is absolute disaster, right?
Right.
And he's like mentioning these different timelines, and then like he's like every timeline I have seen ends in calamity except for one, and that's the one where you exist. And this world, like the concept of this world is that Paul was never born. Lady Jessica was commanded by the Bene Gesserit to sire a daughter on Duke Leto, and instead she defied them and sired a son because she thought that she could make the Kwisatz Haderach, right? And that's what Paul is, or basically. In this world, she doesn't do that. She has a daughter, so there is no Paul Atreides. There's a girl named I don't remember what they named her. Something Atreides, right? And so like the midnight coup on Arrakis, like the Battle of Arrakeen.
Oh, it's Pauline.
It's not Pauline. No, it's like Solstice or Celeste. It's something with an S.
Oh, I thought Wing It in chat was being
no.
It's not. Your question.
No, it's not. It's not. It's like an actual sci-fi name. Like the Battle of Arrakeen never happened. So like the whole like the Harkonnen killing all the Atreides in one night and taking control of the planet, and Paul running into the desert and meeting up with the Fremen and then becoming Muad'Dib, right? None of that happens. Instead, now there is like this locked, like what they call the War of Assassins on Arrakis. Like the Atreides and the Harkonnen are both on Arrakis in pretty much equal measure. They're locked in this like Cold War of like discrete political assassinations. Like they're not really having all out battles, and it's just kind of like this huge fucking slog. And your character is a prisoner who is brought in by the Bene Gesserit because they think your character might be the Kwisatz Haderach, or like have some part to play in the rise of the Kwisatz Haderach. And so they send you to Dune. Your transport that you're on, your prison transport, crashes, and you are on the planet, and it's like, good luck. The mission that they give you is they want you to find out what happened to the Fremen. So another thing in this world is that like the Harkonnen succeeded in wiping out the Fremen. There's no more Fremen, as far as I know. But your mission is to like
that's
find
like the
out
story
what
is to figure out what's going on with them. Yeah.
Right. Your mission is to like find out what happened to him. And like that's like these are good decisions for like if I wanted to make a game set in this world, like this is a pretty decent way to set that up, right? Because now like the Sardaukar are like the most powerful enemy in the game. The Sardaukar are the Emperor's like private troops, right? They're the most powerful enemies in the game. The whole point in the original Dune was that nobody could beat Sardaukar, and then everyone finds out that the Fremen can. And the Fremen, like, have no problem killing Sardaukar. And that's
But
crazy.
now there's no Fremen.
Huh? Yeah, but now
there's no Fremen,
right?
Yeah.
So now that there's no Fremen to fight back, because there was no one who ever united them, the Emperor has like a death grip on the planet, right? And you kind of have to exist within that framework. As far as the gameplay, it is kind of fucking brutal. It's tough. Like, as far as surviving go, it is more focused on that than a lot of these games that I've played, right? Like it's not just about, you don't have to like eat food, I don't think, but like you have to drink water. You have to constantly keep yourself hydrated to the point where like you're making decisions between like, do I want to wear armor or do I want to wear a still suit? Still suit's not going to offer me as much protection, but it captures water and I can drink
You
from
drink your pee.
Yeah.
And you sweat.
And like water is your number one resource in this game. You need other resources. Like you need like tree punching shit and you need money, but you need water, and not just to survive, but also like production, right? Like you need water to make basically most materials after like the second tier. You need water to run some of the more advanced generators. Like the most advanced power generator you get runs on spice, and it requires 2 million milliliters of water to keep your base running for 20 days.
Jesus Christ.
And you have to keep generators power. So like you build bases, right? And those bases, what makes them a base is that they have a shield around them that protects them from the weather and from sandworms, right? You need that shield to keep running, which means you have to keep putting fuel cells into it.
That's just 2,000 liters.
It decays. It decays over time. It's kind of like, remember like V Rising when I was talking about that? You had like your vampire castle and you needed blood to keep it, like to keep your domain strong. It's that same thing, except now you need water. Except also the best way to get water is sucking it out of dead people. Like that is the most surefire way to get water, is to exsanguinate corpses and then feed their blood into.
Yeah,
that's with the corpses.
Exsanguinate.
Suck their blood out and convert it to water. Filter out all the blood
drain
stuff.
them of their
Suck it all out,
liquids.
and then you put it in filters to make it water. And like later on, so like one of the main quests in the game is that you're like following the path of the Fremen. Like you're like learning their ways and going to different cultural sites and like having spice visions and like learning the ways of the desert, right? You know, you're becoming like Muad'Dib, the kangaroo mouse, who is very wise in the ways of the desert. He makes his own water. And one of the thing you get for finishing that is a Fremen death still, which is that thing in the movie. You guys have all seen the movies, right?
I have a feeling Chris Davis has not.
I saw the first one.
You didn't see the second one?
No.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I didn't see either.
Remember in the second movie
this
when they get back to Siege Tabor and they bring
No.
Jameis. Shut up, Chris. I know you don't know what's going on. You're not part of the conversation.
I'm the only one.
When they bring Jameis's body back to Siege Tabor and they put it in that thing that like sucks all the water out, right? That's a death still. So eventually this game becomes collecting corpses and throwing them into your like base's water filtration system to like pump them up, right? The one thing I will say is that like so there are two kinds of death in this game too. There's any death that you experience in the open world is pretty tame, because all it means is that you drop whatever money you're holding, you drop some like materials if you're holding them, and then you have to respawn somewhere. But all your gear and everything you keep, it just kind of degrades a little bit, right? Not very punishing. If you get killed by a sandworm, like get eaten by a worm,
oh shit,
you lose whatever you have equipped. It's all gone. And that has happened to me twice, and it was
tell us about the worms.
Absolutely devastating both times, because both times I was on like supply runs trying to like move shit between bases, and I got eaten and lost everything, and then it took me hours to rebuild and recover. Like real brutal shit. The worms, right? So the game is big open desert with a lot of like rocky area, like islands between, right? anytime you're out on open sand, you are attracting the worms. You have to move. You have to be quick. And like,
do they do anything that like kind of like indicates to you that the worms?
Oh yeah,
like...
Like there's a little thing on your HUD first of all that comes up that shows like how much vibration you're causing, and
like tremors.
The more that starts like reacting when it starts turning red, that's like the worm is here. And also the worm is massive, and everything around you starts like getting like you can tell there's something running up on you.
The world is shaking.
Yeah, it's fucking unmistakable.
You can't do the weird walk thing where they minimize...
You're not. Nobody knows how to do it. The Fremen are gone. That's a Fremen thing. Sand walking is a Fremen thing. So nobody knows how to do it. There is rumors that they're gonna add it in a later tier. I mean,
that would make sense.
So like I think right now it goes up to like tier 9 of like abilities and things you can craft, and they're gonna expand later. And they're saying like they'll probably add that later. But yeah, there's not like, I think there's like a rare pair of boots you can find that reduces your
winged boots.
No, yeah, they're called like light step boots or something.
Boots of blinding speed.
But
your name is some pretty sick boots.
Reduces your vibrations. But yeah, other than that, like there's not really a way around it. You just have to not be on the sand if you can help it. You know, and be.
I mean, that's the kind of shit. Like, that's the shit I'm talking about, man.
But
like
what's crazy?
That's awesome.
The first time, what is cool is like the first time you get killed by the worm, you have like a spice vision where like this character called like the guide. I don't know what he's supposed to be, but like he talks to you and he's like, you know, he's saying like, "Oh, Shai Hulud finds no sustenance in your soul. Who are you? Like, who is it that starves a god in his own desert? Like, like all this weird stuff." And you're in this like place that looks like a valley, but like when you look up, the top of the valley looks like the worm's mouth, like closed in around you, and then it's just like stars beyond that. It's so cool. It's crazy.
Damn, this game actually sounds pretty sick.
It is really sick, and I haven't done any PvP yet.
So you've just been playing solo?
Yeah, I've been playing solo. I've been like running into other players, but they can't hurt me because I'm in PvE. So basically the way PvP works is like there are so like one of the types of points of it, like dungeons you can run, are ship crashes, right?
Yeah.
Those ship crashes are the only place where you can find certain materials that usually go towards building weapons and armor. But all of those ship crashes are PvP areas. So if you go into a ship and there's other players in there, it's on, right? And then at end game, once you've like finished the story and you like are at your top crafting level, you can go into the deep desert. And the deep desert is entirely PvP. And that's also the only place where they do like regular wipes, right? It's called the Coriolis Storm. So basically you can build bases and shit in the deep desert, but every like week or 2 weeks a storm comes and wipes everything out and moves all the dungeons, moves all the resources, moves everything. But that's endgame. That's the deep desert. That is the stuff where it's like you probably can't. Most people probably aren't gonna have a good time doing that solo. But like I don't know, there are people who do it. I'm still like I'm 30 hours in and I'm still kind of inching my way through the like tech tree. Like I haven't even gotten to ornithopters yet, but eventually you get like an ornithopter and you can just like fly around and like what I'm in a stage right now where like I have to meticulously plan every trip I take because I have to route where I'm gonna go on the sand to make sure. That's some
Subnautica shit right there, and
it is like Subnautica, but it feels even more deadly than that. Like you guys played Subnautica on Explorer mode or something, didn't you? Like,
no,
I played the one where you don't have to eat.
Yeah. You can't do that in this game, and if you did, it would defeat the purpose. But yeah, dude, it's sick. And I mean, like, is it high art? No, but it's better than I think a lot of people thought it was gonna be.
I mean, it sounds like it's leveraging the lore the way it needs to. So
you know, I played a little bit of Conan Exiles. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but I played a bit of it recently, like at the end of its development cycle, right?
Yeah.
And it was good, but it was another one of those games that like kind of iterated a lot, like had to change and evolve and add things and kind of figure it out along the way. And this game feels like it benefited from a lot of that,
Yeah.
It's still not perfect. It still needs a lot of work, probably. It's gonna need more content, balancing.
Is it 1.0 yet, or is this early access?
Yeah, this is 1.0. Cool. This is 1.0. But dude, this game is sick. And I mean, I love Dune. Maybe I'm a little biased, right? Maybe I just have like a affinity for the source material, so I'm kind of seeing a rosy tinted picture of this. But like, it's a fucking sick game, and I mean, like the first time you fucking parry somebody and then like cut through their shield and then like suck their blood out, take it to your water machine and then like fill a liter jar with water and drink it to like save your life, you're like, okay, yeah, this is sick. I didn't even talk about the classes. Oh my god. Yeah, like they have character classes that are all based on like the different great schools of the Imperium. So like I have Bene Gesserit powers. Like I can do like the voice.
Can you do the voice?
Oh! Yeah. I can do a bunch of different like versions of the voice that do different things. Like I can do one that's just stop, where like if someone's shooting at me, I'll just be like stop, and then they'll just like and then I just like walk up and execute them. Like it's so sick. Like there's troopers. You can learn Blade Master shit. You can learn Mentat shit. You can learn Planetology, which is an excellent class. Has a lot of really cool shit for like using suspensor belts and like power management and like. Dude, yeah, it's fucking sick. You pick, like, you customize your character. You actually, like, pick what world you come from, and those have, like, little bonuses. So, like, my character is from the machine world Ix, which is a planet that they talk about later in the books. But you can be, like, from Giedi Prime. You can be from Seleucus Secundus. Actually, I don't know about that one. You can be from Caladan, the Atreides homeworld. Like... And then you can also pick like what caste of society you're from. Like, were you a noble? Were you like part of the merchant or like, labor class, or were you like a peasant? And those will like affect dialogue that you have with people. They'll affect missions and like all kinds of shit. So like I picked a peon from the machine world Ix. So like I'm fucking I don't know.
This sounds really fucking cool.
It's very fun. It's joyous. Like, if you played Valheim and had fun with that, I feel like this is better. Like, this is really cool.
I think I'm gonna try this. Also, you kind of got me in the mood because I read the first Dune book a while back before Dune Part 2 came out.
Right.
But I've had Messiah sitting on my shelf for a long time and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, and Messiah. Oh, dude.
My body is ready.
And then God Emperor. Dude, they're doing... Oh, my God. Let me tell you something. I've watched both of the Dune movies multiple times recently. They're so good. They're so sick.
I still need to rewatch Dune Part 2.
This game is not directly tied into it. So they don't use everything from the movies, but they use a lot of inspiration. And I feel like this game... if you dig like the visual language of those movies, this game's got you. Dude, yeah, like when you run up on somebody and they like pull their sword and activate their shield and you're like, okay, I'll turn my shield on, and then you fight them, dude, and then later on when you're done fighting them and you start like walking out into the desert and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to turn my shield off, which I better do, because if I don't, it attracts the worm quicker, just like it does in the books. Like, fuck, man.
Can you ride the worms?
No.
Damn.
No. But they might add that later. But that's a Fremen thing. Like, only Fremen know how to...
Fremen thing, yeah.
That's a Fremen thing. Like, nobody here knows how to use the fucking Make-Our sticks. Nobody here knows how to make, like, good still suits. Nobody knows how to sandwalk. Nobody knows... I don't know, man. I think... Yeah, I don't know.
I watched... Winged says he thinks the David Lynch film is better, which is wild to me. I watched the David Lynch film for the first time like a year ago. Wow.
It's good. It's good, but it's weird.
I don't know.
It's a very...
I don't know. I did not like it.
Look, No,
That's just me.
Nick would-
We don't need to
he
get
would
into that.
like it.
We don't need to get into
no,
that.
no,
That's-
no, no.
I know that.
I think it's. I don't think David Lynch doesn't like it. Like he doesn't like his version of Dune, and I get that. Like I don't know how you could really do a version of that movie and be like completely happy with it. Like even Villeneuve's, like I think it makes excellent changes to the source material when necessary to like adapt it to a movie. But like there's stuff in there. There's stuff missing that I'm like, oh my god, that just kills. Like it sucks that Jessica and Leto have literally 2 scenes together, and in only one of them do they even talk to each other. Like it kind of sucks that we just didn't have time for that, you know?
Yeah.
Like they removed the big banquet scene at the palace. Like you know, there's stuff that like I don't know how you, like it. I don't know. I've watched both of them recently. I think that like as a more like kind of earnest modern telling, I do think the Villeneuve movies are better. Like I think they have a lot more going on. The Lynch film is just like, it's really good. It has all of the weirdness and has all of the like pomp and like gravitas of the book, but like not contextualized in any way, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
weird.
his idea of like, he invented the whole weirding module thing where like Paul's like killing people with his voice. He's like Muad'Dib, and then like the statue breaks, and he's like, my voice, it is or my name, it is a killing word. Like it's crazy. It's just weird. I don't know. It's so good. They're all great. I love it. This game's great. If you like Dune, I think there's
I do like Dune.
something for you here.
I do like Dune, and I think Brad and Chris Davis should both watch those films.
They're coming
Just
back
saying.
to theaters, right? This summer.
Probably.
Are they?
I
thought-
think I heard that. Yeah.
I could have sworn that already.
There was a
happened.
miniseries
Maybe
from
I'm
the-
wrong.
It already
Yeah.
happened.
I
No,
thought
it's
so. Maybe
happening
I'm
again.
wrong.
It's happening again.
What?
The movies are
it's coming
the Villeneuve films. are
right
coming.
there.
I never
I
watched
will-
them because
like,
I
look at the
refused
footage,
to watch
look at the
them
footage.
at home.
This is the first time I've ever seen a spice blow. Like, this is something that happens out in the desert, is that, like, you'll get these giant eruptions, and you're like, what the
That's
fuck
pretty
was that? It's spice coming up out of the desert, and then, like, people will go and try and mine it. I'm not even, like, advanced enough for that yet, but, like, that was the first time I'd actually seen one while I was recording this footage, and I was like, oh, shit,
That's cool.
what is that?
Nice. All right. Well, thanks, Crispy. I'm gonna check that out. It's pretty cool. It's also in our Steam shared family library. Just pointing that out. Brad, you have
We
some
can't put
demos
it together.
You
Oh
have some
yeah,
demos
let's
for
do
us.
that. Let's rattle them off. I do have footage though. Chris Davis, you on it?
Yeah, we'll start with Mina.
Okay, so some of the cooler games that they showed at SGF are some of the games that got dates, yada yada yada. Some of the games that I've been interested in got demos during the Steam Next Fest, and I'm going to talk about a few of them here.
There's Mina the Hollower footage running right now. So.
Mina the Hollower, yes, is one that obviously I've been very, very excited for. I love Shovel Knight, and they decided, hey, what if like Castlevania met like old school Zelda? And I'm like, okay, yeah, just make the best game ever. And that's what they did, making Mina the Hollower. And wait, the footage went away? I'm so
No,
confused.
it's footage is there. I'm watching it right now.
Okay, I'm just a little behind on my stream. Okay. So yeah, I'm at like mash up like a Game Boy Color Zelda game with Castlevania, and that's Mina the Hollower. By the way, this comes out on Halloween. And
Is it Halloween like the day of Halloween?
it comes
Is that
out
what
on
the release
Halloween,
date?
yeah.
Dang.
I mean, Castlevania has always been very Halloween coded, right? And since this is
Yeah.
very much inspired by like Castlevania, it makes sense, right? I mean, I'm not currently using the whip, but there's like a chain whip, just like in Castlevania. You're throwing sub weapons like daggers and axes, just like in Castlevania. But it is like kind of the structure of a isometric Zelda game, obviously. And I'm using this hammer. There was a lot of things I was not expecting about this game. I've been following it, but in the trailers always had like a ton going on, and I'm always kind of like, whoa, I can't believe. I'm always blown away every time I see a Mina the Hollower trailer by like how much I'm seeing. Like seriously, go watch the latest Mina the Hollower trailer that was at the, I don't know, SGF or whatever.
It's where they
And
announced
there's
the
so
release
much
date.
going on. That's how I know like this game is going to be an all-timer. You just watch the trailers and you're just like, holy shit, right?
This is
But
like
the demo
this is like
is
one of
just
the
one
prestige, like this is like one of
area.
those prestige indies, right? Like
Yeah, because
people
it's
waiting
from
for
the
Hollow
Shovel
Knight
Knight
and Mina the
developers.
Hollower,
It's like
yeah.
their first original game after Shovel Knight. And, you know, they've sort of catapulted them to like the status of indie royalty because Shovel Knight is very loved. And they released like 3 DLCs that were like basically full Shovel Knight campaigns after that with all these unique characters. And it's just like they've been goated, right? And people love the character of Shovel Knight, and I don't know. So this is their first follow-up, but it's instead of just Mega Man, right? This is 2 retro flavors that I enjoy a lot more than Mega Man. And I will say this is an old school style retro game, so don't get it twisted, right? This game is tough. That was like the first thing that kind of surprised me is like I went into this game and I was like dying a lot, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because they make like retro style games, and games were harder back then, right?
They sure were.
And like I think our vocabulary is so broken these days that I was like, oh, it's kind of like a Souls game. And then I'm like, no, you fucking idiot. It's just hard, you know, because that's what games are like back then. I'm using a hammer, by the way, that like you can charge it up, and it like once you're charging, you can't choose the direction. So at first I was like, well, this seems terrible. If I can't change the direction while I'm charging the hammer, like this is awful. Because there's different weapons that you can choose. Even in the demo, you start, and you can pick one of 3 weapons at the start of the demo. And I played through the demo with the whip or whatever, so I'm playing through it with the hammer. But while you're charging, you can like dodge roll back, like to the side and back and forward to get into position to land that charged hit, which is very strong. And it's like, well, this is a very like unique mechanic, and I guess that's the whole like vibe of the game, right? It's a retro style game with retro sensibilities and retro difficulty, but it has a lot of like modern ideas, and you know, and like some modern feel to it, right? Which is kind of what worked with like with Shovel Knight, and it's definitely working here. Like the main mechanic though is that you're a mouse and you burrow into the ground, and it's like your main like mobility move, like both in and out of combat, but like you're so much faster when you're under the ground, and then you sort of like pop up, that if you're not constantly burrowing, you're just going to get fucked up, right? Because you're not moving like a more modern character unless you're burrowing, but you can only stay under the ground for like a limited amount of time. It's also how you like jump. So like you're fighting enemies that are like in the air, so you kind of have to burrow and like pop out and like time your aerial attacks like with where you're going to be when you pop out. It's kind of how you're doing your platforming. It's all designed around like this mobility. And it just seems very like tight and well considered, like from the level design to the gameplay, to the combat, but like it's very punishing. Like if you fight sloppy, you're going to get sent back, and you're going to get sent back to like a checkpoint that might be further away than your modern, more like forgiving checkpointed game, right?
Do you think that's going to have any effect on it critically?
I mean,
I'm just curious. Like,
it's not like fucking so hard. Like
well, I'm not saying that, but
it's
like,
not as breezy. Like I just got through playing like Pipistrello, which was also like can be like a pretty challenging game until you get like a decent ways into it. This I can tell is like, oh, and maybe this game will get like that too, but like it feels very designed to be like a not a difficult game, but a game where you can't fight sloppy, which is what classic Castlevania was like, right? Classic Castlevania was a game where if you just ran around and whipped things, you were going to be out of health in no time. So you had to really learn the enemy types and learn the spacing and the timing and like the level design to be able to be successful at it. This isn't quite that, but you can tell that they were definitely going for this sort of inspired, you know, like that sort of inspired, considered design, right? But it's good. Like it's just they're good at making this style of game, and I got to be honest with you. Like to me, I love Shovel Knight. I truly love Shovel Knight. But like, I think this has like so much more going on. Like I said, watch a trailer. There is it seems like a lot. Like it seems like they've been making this game for years, and they have, and you can see that not just because this is a well-made like game or whatever, but because you watch a trailer and you're like, how is all of this in a game, right? I'm trying to think of another game.
Also, at the same time, they've been making
where you watch a trailer and you're like, it just seems like too much.
But they've also been somehow making like shit tons of Shovel Knight content at the same time.
Yeah, they have been, right? Which is why, their games take a long time, right? Like this is a boss, and again, a very retro style boss. Like it fucks me up super quick, right? But I'm playing this hammer that when timed right, I can like kill this boss in like 2 hits. But I have to like really time it right and nail it, and it just kind of fucks me up at first, right? Which is good. I don't know what to, whatever. Mina the Hollower.
We're going to talk about it when the full game
It comes out on
out,
Halloween.
for sure.
I'm excited. There's like a lot of cool like effects. I love when an enemy is like one tap from death, they start glowing. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Because, there's not like health bars and shit, right? But like being in a really tense battle, like it's nice to be able to like know when I just need to get one more hit in for him to die.
Yeah.
And, it leads to a lot of like risky hits and like maybe you'll die trying, but like it's a cool little effect like that. And there's a lot of cool stuff in there, but yeah, we'll talk about it when it comes out later this year. I'm super hyped. It's going to be a good one. Who has it in Fantasy Critic? I think it's Carlos, actually. This will be a dub for sure. Another game I played. What do you got, Chris Davis?
How about Absalom?
Absalom. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is an interesting one. This is a we've talked about it, I think, within a trailer talk before, maybe. This is a
this game.
This is a beat 'em up roguelike from some of the people who worked on Streets of Rage 4, which is a really good idea. I will say first and foremost, this is a really pretty game, and it's really polished, and like there's voice acting and stuff, and that this is a game from people who understand beat 'em ups, right? And like the beat 'em up aspects of the game like feel extremely good, like they would, right? These people worked on Streets of Rage. I mean, they just understand beat 'em ups, right? It's funny because .emu is like putting out so many games. This is supposed to come out later this year, but it doesn't have a date since .emu is already like shipping 2 games this year. I think I could see this one maybe slipping, but it looks like the presentation's really good. The music's great, the voice acting is great, and like the beat 'em up like feel, like the way you're like juggling enemies and like they're bouncing off of walls into your combos and you're doing dash attacks that kind of pop them up, and like everything feels really good, looks really good. But it is a roguelike. This is what kind of like interested me at first. It's like, well, you don't see that genre in roguelike form very often, and these guys seem like they understand the genre, so let's see if they can pull off a roguelike. And I will say it's exciting, but it's a little weird because I feel like we play a lot of like throwback beat 'em up style games, but they're all like kind of nostalgia, like not like they're fun, but like it's a genre that doesn't really exist in a modern form. The modern form of the game are like these throwback style games that play like they used to, right? Even like Streets of Rage 4, right? Which is an old series.
Right.
And we've seen like some modern takes on it, like Dragon's Crown, I think was a really good one from Vanillaware, right? But that was
even that was a while ago.
Side-scrolling beat 'em up, but like they have the very like slow vertical movement, right? Like if you've ever played a beat 'em up, or some people call them like belt action games. Back in the day, they called them belt. I don't know. Some people call them belt action games because they're like side scrolling, but you can kind of move up and down, right? And you're getting into like that side scrolling up and down combat. But like if someone is not in your like horizontal plane and they're above you or below you, it can be kind of clunky like getting to them in time because up and down movement is really slow. Now in this game there's some neat ideas, right? Like you can dodge up and down and to like attack like quickly, like above or below you, or get out of the way above or below you. But it does some neat shit that I don't think I've seen in like beat 'em ups before, where if you hold the attack button down, you'll like dodge out of the way, but you'll dodge back into an attack. So it's like you can kind of use it as a spot dodge without actually stopping your combo, kind of, which is a really neat idea for like kind of getting around that sort of like old school clunk that is like inherent to the genre. So like there's some neat ideas. I will say though, you can tell like maybe they're not like they're it's giving like this is my first roguelike energy, where some of like the power-ups, like you could tell it's somewhat inspired by Hades, right? Which in terms of like quest design and like the way that stuff evolves with NPCs and stuff you meet in the world seems really neat. But like I'm not getting like a lot of the, like, you know, in Hades they're boons, right? Here, right, like the equivalent of that like seems cool, but like there's not so much of them to where I'm feeling like getting unique builds, and you know, some of that stuff seems like way more powerful than others, and it, like the kinds of upgrades you're getting on your character as you're going through, you know, don't seem all that inspired. And kind of they don't in Hades, but Hades is so well tuned and like their weapon design is so fucking good that it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter, right, that as a roguelike, it's the most like innovative roguelike in the world, because they're just on, everything is just top tier, right? And this game is getting close to that. So like, I don't think it needs to be Binding of Isaac in terms of just how crazy your upgrades and shit are getting, right? Or like a lot of other roguelikes that have like really crazy stuff, because it does feel really good. But the problem is it does still feel like a retro style beat 'em up, and which means like it has some inherent clunk to it because that's what the genre is. So it doesn't quite feel as smooth or as fast as a Hades. You still have to tap double forward to be able to run, which is just something that's part of the genre. While in most modern action roguelikes, you're just going to move fast and dodge all over you want. But this is beholden to the genre, right? And you know, we do need to move on. But I will say, like the other thing is, the health system is really weird. So like beat 'em ups, they come from like arcades, right? That are designed to like take your money. So you're going to get hit in those games, and they want you to get hit because they're trying to take your money. It's really easy to get kind of like wombo comboed to, you know, if an enemy's behind you and, you know, in front of you, you're just going to take a hit, which is fine because they were quarter munchers, right? But in a roguelike where you have to be very careful with your health, and there's not a lot of ways to get your health back, because if it did, it would break the roguelike formula. Here, it's so easy to lose health, like in a bad like encounter or like a mid boss, that it feels weird as a roguelike, because it's like, this genre isn't designed for me to play perfectly. This ain't Bayonetta, you know, it's too clunky for that. And you know, maybe I'm overstating it a little bit, but it feels bad when you have a bad combat encounter and you lose a lot of health, which you don't really want to experience that in a roguelike. And that feels like it could be trouble. And the last thing I'll say is, like, it is a roguelite. You are upgrading your character like permanently after a run, kind of like Rogue Legacy. But the way that's implemented, honestly, kind of feels uninspired. In terms of the way you upgrade your characters, like if you're going to have permanent upgrades, maybe that stuff should feel better. But then again, in Hades, it's not like the permanent upgrade stuff was all that inspired either. Like, you could tell that this game is inspired by Hades. And it's one to look
hard
at.
not
like I would love to see how they take like the demo feedback, because I think this is the first public demo, and like kind of develop it from there. I think there's probably going to be a lot of good feedback for this game, because you can tell all other aspects outside of maybe those roguelike elements are like, man, they're fucking nailing it. Like, they're fucking nailing it. It's beautiful. It sounds like I said, the music is great. I say they need to take some of that feedback to heart and maybe speed up the up and down movement a little bit. Next game, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Click that one. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This is one that is coming out. It does have a date. I will say there are enemies with anti-airs in Absalom, which seems crazy because...
Whoa, you just shifted back to Absalom.
You jump a lot in beat-em-ups. Jumping is kind of the way you get around some of the clunk in a side scroll, like in an old school beat 'em up. There are enemies that have anti-airs, like a fighting game, that will immediately, if you're in the air, they'll do their anti-air move and like fuck you up, which again feels bad and is crazy for this genre, but whatever. So Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, he went away. I don't know. Did he start the footage?
Yes, there's footage. There is footage rolling.
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is the new game. This is the new side-scrolling Ninja Gaiden game. There's 2 Ninja Gaiden games coming out this year. Both have dates. Very exciting. The return of Ninja Gaiden. unlike or also like Ninja Gaiden 4, you play as a new playable character, actually 2 characters in this game that are not Ryu Hayabusa. And like, this is a demo that has a few levels, and this is actually like my first time through me recording this footage.
Is this genre? Is this just like a side-scrolling action game, or is this like a Metroidvania? Like what?
This is not a traditional Metroidvania. No, like it's like a level-based thing. I don't know if there's like going to be backtracking or whatever. But this is not a Metroidvania. But neither was the classic Ninja Gaiden games, right? Like they're just side-scrolling action.
I was just wondering if maybe it was spreading its wings into a new.
Well, I mean, some people kind of don't want that. And like Ninja Gaiden would feel maybe a little weird if it was more about exploration, because Ninja Gaiden is all about like really fast-paced combat. I don't know. I mean, whatever. I mean, that could be cool, right? I mean, this game is being developed by the Game Kitchen, which they make Blasphemous. And Blasphemous games are Metroidvanias. And the fact that this isn't a Metroidvania.
You famously hate Blasphemous.
No, I don't. I mean, that's a meme, right? I really liked Blasphemous. It was more that I put it off for years and I just sort of memed about it. But when I finally did play it, it's actually really good. Although I never finished the second game.
They're
but
both
I heard that
good.
Good too. Maybe just not quite as good. Anyways, this game, the thing you realize immediately is that like it plays great. Like it's so fast and smooth. Like this is the opposite of like a old school side scrolling beat 'em up, right? Like this game is, Ryu Hayabusa, he can slash and move at the same time, right? That's Ninja Gaiden. Anyways, here it has a kind of like a lot of the side scrolling Ninja Gaiden action. Like you can like jump up walls and stuff. And anyways, the unique thing for this game is that there's a lot of unique things, but one of the big ones is that you can like bounce off of like enemies and projectiles, and just kind of like you're using that for like platforming and for comboing and for like building your meter to do your really powerful attacks. So like this is a very like high mobility, fast paced game where once you're kind of like on it, you can go, and it feels
building
really good.
momentum.
Yeah, like building momentum and just keep going, and like you feel it feels designed in such a way that you just want to go as fast as possible because it feels like they've designed it that way. And when you do get into those flow states, it does feel really good. But it's just very fast paced game where you're just bouncing off of things, and you're like most things you're like hitting and killing in one hit, and the things that you don't kill in one hit you can kill in one charged hit, and you get charged hits by killing certain glowing enemies that are flying. Enemies are constantly spawning in because it's like an old school Ninja Gaiden game, and those games had like infinite spawn kind of, right? And you'll see like glowing enemies that if you kill them in one tap or whatever, you'll like power up your charged attack that can like kill like heavier enemies in one hit. And it's kind of all about like navigating very quickly the onslaught of enemies flying at you on screen, finally getting to one that's glowing, killing that to power up your heavy strike to be able to kill the heavier enemy in one hit. And you're just ripping through enemies. This is the Doom 2016 of side-scrolling action games, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's another character and you can like swap between them, and she's more about like ranged attacks, and it's a little bit of a like Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, a little bit where there are sections where you're like switching between the characters, but you could also like have both characters kind of like doing their ability on screen at the same time, like a partner action game, I guess. I don't know. And all that seems really cool. It's just a few levels, but like you'll immediately as soon as you start playing, like, oh yeah, this one feels nice. So I don't know, I'm excited. I think this comes out in like August or something, or July, and it might not be as like ambitious as like a Blasphemous game, but like you could tell they understood the assignment, right? And
this
I'm excited,
could
man.
end up being Ninja Gaiden
Ninja Gaiden in both its forms is back. Wait, you've never played a 3D Ninja Gaiden game either?
I've never touched a Ninja Gaiden game.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, well, the good news is there were some hands-on impressions from like Ninja Gaiden 4 at SGF as well, and it seems like between this and Ninja Gaiden 4, like Ninja Gaiden is back, and both in the classic form and in the 3D form.
I mean, strangely enough, I don't ask me to explain this. For whatever reason, I have like no interest in the 3D Ninja Gaiden. Like, it just doesn't
Really?
appeal to me. This, however,
I don't think
gets me
like,
going.
but like that's weird.
I don't know.
I mean, that's not weird. I guess I don't know.
Did you? You're a big
he isn't. But like, remember, this is the guy that dunks on like Devil May Cry 5. I feel like he's never.
I do.
As far as pure action games go, he's never there just for like the action. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I know you like the first couple of Devil May Cry games, right? But like that's more when they're horror games and not just pure
Devil May
action.
Cry is a series that I've liked. The only one in the series that I have actively kind of disliked was 5, and that's not even.
But I bet you
even
didn't
then.
like 4
Even then,
either,
I
right?
finished it. I played it and I finished it. So like, how much did I actually hate it?
Sure, but I'm saying like the people who love the genre think you're a crazy person, but that's because they're into it for the stuff that maybe you're not. You know what I mean?
I mean, like,
and Ninja
by
Gaiden
that
4
logic,
is-
you'd think I would be into Ninja Gaiden 3D and not the 2D side scrolling. I feel like
No, but like Ninja Gaiden 3D is the same way. Like
I
there,
don't know.
it's all about the action.
I know. But like something about the way I'm gonna be totally honest here. Something about the way Ninja Gaiden 3D looks totally turns me off. Don't know, but this
Like all of them.
yeah. I don't know.
That's kind of
It just I look at it and I'm like, not for me. I don't know what it is. But I've always liked the Game Kitchen's aesthetic. I mean, for what I've played of their games,
this is
Blasphemous 1
just
and 2.
nice pixel art or whatever, right?
I know,
So,
I know, and
I'm
that
sorry.
gets me going.
Did you say that
But,
you
like-
watched Ninja Gaiden 3D? But
I mean,
I've seen
plenty of
Watch
gameplay.
some footage
I've
of
just
4
never.
or like that 2 remake. I mean, it's
I know.
slicing
also,
up
we
enemies.
talked-
It looks pretty good.
We talked about Ninja Gaiden, the Ninja Gaiden remake when Chris Davis played it, right, or whatever. And I've watched a ton of footage. I've seen lots of trailers. It's just the series, just
yeah,
whatever.
you're just
it
not an
doesn't-
action boy. You're a lore boy. We know that.
But that's not fucking true.
That's not true.
It is. I think it is.
No, dude.
Like
You say
pure
that because I
action,
didn't-
like you're not there
you-
for like what I'm saying is, you know, you seem like the kind of guy who's like, well, this combo worked, let's move on. You know what I mean? Right? You're not styling
I
on
guess.
these dudes. You're not in the lab. You're not in the like in Bayonetta, you know, you can go to the loading screen and stop the loading.
Yes,
So
and I
you
did
can,
that
like-
plenty of times.
Well, I don't know what you, I think it's-
Look, I didn't want to get into it. I was just expressing my history with Ninja Gaiden, which has always been since literally since the first Ninja Gaiden, when everybody else was losing their minds about Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 2. I looked at it and was like,
But
this
Ninja
looks
Gaiden
bad.
like
I don't
Black,
like
it's
this.
like
This is not for
one
me.
of
Yeah.
the goats, right?
I know.
Like
Yeah.
you know, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry 3, Ninja Gaiden Black. It's like
I know, I get
it's
it.
one
I
of
get it.
the goats.
I get it. I don't like it.
Well, you don't get it. That's the thing. You
This-
don't get it. But you've also never
Oh my
played
god.
it. You right? You if you have you played even like a little bit of those games?
No, I've never touched a controller.
Okay. That could be why, right? Because,
Yeah.
you know,
There's a certain amount of
even-
game
I
feel
didn't.
that
I
is
didn't
just
mean
so
to start this
satisfying.
conversation. I
Ninja
did not mean to
Gaiden
go
like
down
on
this rabbit hole.
Xbox, like immediately you
Y'all
get
are
it.
trying-
Like it's a
y'all are-
60 FPS and it's buttery smooth
doesn't-
and you're
I
like,
don't-
holy shit.
God damn it! I regret
Let me
ever saying
finish my
anything about
sentence.
this.
I'm not trying to like
Oh my
convince you.
God.
I'm just saying, you know, just try it one day.
I don't want to. This is just one of those games where it's just like
I bet
I'm,
if it's
I'm
like a
being stubborn.
92, you'll try.
I'm
it,
being
but
stubborn. Like I just
if
don't.
if it's a
Ninja-
92, you'll play it.
No.
See, I don't believe you. I think
me.
if it's a 92, you'll try it. You'll be like,
Nick
maybe I
comes
should
in
try
last
Ninja Gaiden.
place this year in
It's not
Fantasy
gonna be
Critic.
a
He has to
92.
play a Ninja Gaiden game.
That's
Sure.
not-
Sure. That is
No,
maybe
he has
the
to
only
play the worst game
circumstances.
on his list, like last year. It's
How about even better? I have to play the worst game that's not on my list, which will be Ninja Gaiden 4.
it's a
That
weird
feels
take.
mean.
Like you can say I hate
I'm-
Devil May Cry 5 because you
Y'all
didn't
are
play
just
through it.
making me dig my heels in harder.
I
because
know,
you won't
which
stop
is
talking about
funny
it.
because
Stop
it's a
it.
weird
Stop it. We're moving
one to
on.
dig your heels on.
We're fucking moving on. This is the hill I'm dying on. I just don't like Ninja Gaiden.
I think I have one more game.
Yes,
This
you do.
one is more your flavor, Nick. My last game here.
Okay.
Roll that beautiful footage and let's let him look at it before.
For
we,
the record, again, I want to be clear. This Ninja Gaiden game looks hot.
yeah, whatever. it's
Oh,
not.
I'm not.
like,
I am not into this. What the fuck makes you think I'm into baby steps? This is a Chris Davis game. What are you talking about?
The fuck does that mean?
First of all,
What do you mean with
first of all, how dare you? Like
It's a
one,
joke
this is a meme funny game, and of course that's Chris Davis slop, right? But
Yes.
this is a Bennett Foddy game. It's a Bennett Foddy game, and he is like, he existed before the slop, you know? Like, he is the grandfather of the
The
slop.
man
Or are you
produces
saying
quality.
this because are you saying it because this guy has like a fat ass and like that's what I'm into and that is that the route you're
No,
going?
I was just joking. I was like this moron can't find any appeal in Ninja Gaiden 4, so I've just made a joke about this game, which is obviously you would never play a game this ugly, right?
It has nothing to do with it being ugly. It's just God damn it. What is
like
the other game that we played?
Super mechanically satisfying and rewarding game like Baby Steps?
Oh no, this makes me what's the game that kind of started this whole trend?
The Bennett Foddy game Quap?
Yeah, Quap. Like I remember when we streamed Quap together, and which was hilarious. We were all dying laughing, but like it was also like hurting my brain. Like it was just like incredibly frustrating. Which is intentional. That is the mechanic. Like that's the joke.
Yeah, and getting over it with Bennett Foddy. I mean, you know that one.
Getting over it is a beautiful game.
The
It's
dude
a
in the
beautiful
cauldron with the sledgehammer, and he's climbing the cliffs and stuff, and then you fall. Like Quap was just like, it was a mechanically interesting, funny game, right? And getting good at it was extremely difficult, right? But when Getting Over It came out, like that's what sort of, I think, kicked off like this is a streamer game where if you fall, you have to like do like hours worth of effort over again, but you're going to do it anyways. Right. And because the streamers like watching it. Right. So like Bennett Foddy comes from a place of like, I don't know, like indie game respect, but he also like made it big with streamers. So like, this feels like a weird in between of like, you glance at it where it's like, well, it's obviously streamer bait, right? Like this is, you know, just like you watched Northern Lion push the boulder up the hill for hours and hours and hours and laughed every time it went all the way down the hill, right? This is one of those games where, you know, he's going to slip off the mountain and we're all going to laugh and he's going to say that we're, you know, morally bankrupt because we want him to stop or whatever. You know, I get it, right? But at the same time, it is also like a pretty satisfying, like mechanically satisfying game. It's not as brutal as something like Getting Over It or Quap, even for just like the basic navigation. Like getting him to walk is not so hard, but like you see with this demo, and after the demo, you could just kind of explore and just keep trying to go up the hill. You see, well, it's not about the basic movement. It's about using the basic movement over like absurd obstacles that aren't constant, but when they happen, you're like, I fucking hate this game.
But the
you'll
basic
see one
movement,
soon.
is it like contextual analog use the triggers? That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're using the triggers for each
hurting
each
my
foot.
soul just watching this.
And like I'm falling a lot because I'm not really paying attention. But like I said, I can't stress enough. Just like walking is fine. You get into a rhythm and it's not that bad. But then you'll see like a plank over like a muddy slide that if I fuck it up, I'm gonna go all the way down this mountain, and that's where it gets fucked up. The other thing about this game that is, I guess, some semi unique to like Bennett Foddy games is that there is like a story. Like this is a comedy game as well, and there's definitely like some comedy bits that are going on here. There's like a setup to the story. You're like a fucking basement, slobby guy who's just like, I don't know what people would call it, but just you should probably get out and touch grass kind of guy.
Brad's trying to find the PC terminology.
And I don't know, he just gets teleported to like the middle of nowhere. He's underwater and he swims out of the water. He's in some cave just suddenly, right? And like some guy pops up out of nowhere, like very comedic. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on? So you're here. Can you come with me?" And like for whatever reason, the main character is just like, "Nah, man." Like he's got like social anxiety or something, and he's very high strung, and he just really doesn't want to talk to this guy. And the guy's being like super weird, in a comedic way, but at the same time, like I don't trust that guy, but also I don't trust myself because he's saying like, "Hey man, you don't even have shoes. Come with me. Let me give you some shoes." And like this guy should probably say yes to shoes. I mean, he doesn't know what's going on, but he really is just keeps rejecting this guy trying to help him that keeps popping up. And
Can I just say, you did a phenomenal
This
job.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. By the way, I've just been walking up to this point, and now there's like a step that if I fuck this up, I have to go all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. And there is no like reloading. You have to just push the boulder up the hill again. You know, it was
kind of amazing what you just did there, Brad. Because you came across one of those obstacles, and you like sat there, and you could see yourself like trying to build the courage to take your steps, and then you made it across the bridge and then fell on your face the moment
I could hear Brad's heart rate increase as that was happening.
I don't know. I found myself enjoying playing this game because walking with the guy feels good. And like when you do some like crazy maneuver, you're like, oh man, more of that, please. And it feels good up until the point where you take a really bad fall in a really bad place.
And then you put a hole through the wall.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, look, that's just the game rewarding you with more video game, really, you think about it.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, this is really hard to watch. Oh, my God.
I do. Things don't go well for me. If you want to see what happens.
These are the moments.
Oh God!
Oh my God! People listening at home
is revealed.
Yeah, people listening at home are not going to be able to see that, but that was fucking amazing.
Oh, this is such streamer bait! Jesus Christ!
It's streamer bait, but I'm saying like it began as art before he sold it out, right? Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
That was the palette.
That is right there where I would have put the controller down and never touched it again. Yeah. All right. We need to take a break. When we come back from said break, I know, Chris Davis, you got a game, and then I want to just quickly talk a little bit about the Switch 2 because we haven't talked at all about it. And then we'll quickly blow through some of the highlights of Summer Game Fest. So if you're watching at home or listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, that was very brief on all of y'all, but I'll take it. All right,
the first sound test was like 38 minutes long, so
that is true.
Sorry?
And also, we were obligated to interrupt you when you're trying to restart the show.
Yeah,
because that's what we do now.
Clearly, it's 2 for 2 tonight, anyways. Yeah. So, hey guys, welcome back.
Quick
to
rundown.
Shit. Fucking hate
with
you.
Randy Pitchford looking.
Oh yeah. I never noticed the Randy Pitchford in the picture. Wow.
That really,
it's like a magic guy.
I just saw it.
It was your.
I don't see it.
It was your favorite Nightshader edit before you even saw like a layer of it that makes it that much better.
You saw the true beauty of it.
Yeah. All right, let's try this one more time. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We have a lot to cover this segment, including Summer Game Fest and Switch 2 stuff. Before we do that, Chris Davis, I want to give you a chance. You said you wanted to talk about. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. You wanted to talk a little bit about the Precinct.
Yes. 1 second.
Roll that beautiful footage.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Precinct.
The Precinct, in short, is a systems-driven propaganda game in which you are a rookie police officer who comes onto the force in the middle of the 80s. You got a tragic backstory because your dad was the police chief who got killed 5 years ago. And you are just a rookie cop learning the beat. You're going out with your partner who's training you, and you just go do various different patrols. That's really it from a core gameplay perspective. There's like this bespoke storyline that you progress as you get experience in the department doing your tasks. But other than that, yeah, it's just basically going out and writing tickets and arresting people and killing bad guys
For the whole
as
game?
necessary. Basically,
Wait,
yes.
so wait a second.
bad
Did you say killing bad guys?
Oh yeah.
Executing them in the street like dogs.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. This game tries to be like half of a simulation experience, but with a simulation, like there's supposed to be consequences if you're fucking up, right? In this, the only consequences are you don't get XP for what you're doing.
Damn.
Okay.
You don't. There's so many.
That
jokes.
sounds like paid leave to me.
Administrative.
Jesus.
Yeah. You're at a desk for 6 months.
That is so okay. I'm not gonna lie, Chris Davis. That first of all, I think just like from a 10,000 foot view, like the idea of making a game like this, like the reverse Grand Theft Auto kind of situation, is kind of interesting
From the cop point of view.
But I never in a million years would have thought that there would actually be no consequences for killing people in this game, and that just
they're bad guys, Nick.
Are they doing it? But is it like, yeah, we just didn't really develop this game very much, or is it like we're trying to make a point?
No, it's not even that.
It's just tone deaf. It's just tone deaf.
I wouldn't even say it's tone deaf necessarily. I think that they just fell short of what they were trying to do.
What were they trying to do?
You could feel the limitations of this game. Like the map itself is very small. You can drive across it in about 45 seconds, and the scope of the story and what you're doing, like the environments are very limited. The variety of crimes that you respond to is very limited, but the things they fleshed out and focused on are kind of cool. So you are pulling people over, you're giving them drunk tests with a breathalyzer, you're responding to burglary calls, you're going after gang shootouts and things like that. But everything you do is based around booking the suspect and investigating the crime. So you're seeing the background of the character I'm investigating here. Like, he was nervous. So I did a pat down on him, found some narcotics on him. He also had alcohol in his breath, so I did a breathalyzer test. I got points for that. It's all about getting all the right charges on a suspect and then issuing a fine or arresting them. Really, that's it.
Getting the charges? What do you mean getting the charges? Getting
the charges correct. The game gives you this disappointed sound, and you get less XP if you try to apply the wrong charge. Yeah.
If Tarkus says, gotta get that quota.
Wait. Try to apply the wrong charge.
Yeah. If you pull over a guy who's been drunk driving, but you arrest him for homicide, you just get 25% less XP. That's it.
What happens to the guy?
Nobody cares about that, Brad.
System. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
What's funny? What's actually really funny about this is the consequence of not fleshing out certain mechanics or not thinking things through all the way to the end in this particular scenario is that it ends up being this really horrifying accidental commentary about real life.
But from a gameplay
it wouldn't really be that way in any other kind of game.
From a gameplay perspective, going out on your beat and patrolling and responding to 911 calls and are you a beat cop the entire time, or are you a beat cop through the ranks? You're not even raising through the ranks. There is a leveling system in the game for based on XP, and all that does is give you points towards a skill tree in which when you hit max on your rank, you hit max on everything you can unlock. So it's not even that much. All you have to do is just keep working your beat, and you will max out your skills very quickly. But there's kind of interesting things here. There is a stress system when you're dealing with suspects. You'll see a red health bar, and then below you'll see a blue stress meter bar, and as you continue your chase, as you're yelling at them to stop or you'll do whatever, Like,
do whatever.
it will eventually lower to the point where they will straight surrender and things like that.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do if you don't stop.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand the ludicrousness of what I'm saying here.
The audacity of making this game in the year 2025 is insane.
But also there's some things like there's a whole crime syndicate aspect to the game.
I gotta say, I'm starting to understand why this game was overwhelmingly positive prior to release, like in its early access form or the demo or whatever. The demo was overwhelmingly positive, but then the game is like a 69 on Metacritic.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah.
I think the people who were seeking that game out knew what they were looking for and what they were wanting.
The actual narrative progresses as you work your way towards shutting down some crime syndicates in the city. As you're doing your crimes, cop crimes, basically.
Whoa, Freudian slip.
There you go.
Freudian slip. I'm sorry.
He slipped. No, as you are investigating suspects and doing your beat, you will find evidence throughout the world as you arrest suspects. And that counts towards a count of how much evidence you have to go after crime bosses. And as you progress through that, it also pushes the storyline further. There's a whole serial killer storyline subbeat that happens.
There always is.
Honestly, I feel like whoever was developing this is a real big fan of like Serial Killer X in Condemned. Because that's basically the plot line.
But the strange thing is that, like, if you were going to play a game, right, where you have the option to, like, investigate, like, a serial killer, you wouldn't do that as a beat cop.
No, you are aiding the detectives that are doing the work.
Also,
they call you out to crime scenes.
You're just
and have
fucking
you
up
help
their crime scene. That's what you're doing.
Serial killers aren't real, right? Like,
what
statistically speaking,
dude, you live in Austin.
What are you talking about?
We got one, bro.
No. The Rainy Street Killer is not real. That is ridiculous.
Wait. Sorry, I back up for a second. Stop the presses. What the fuck are you talking about, Crispy? What do you mean serial killers aren't real?
No, I just mean
you're about to crush Nick's world.
God damn it. Like, I'm talking about, like, statistically. I'm talking about, like, if you look at the entire corpus of American crime.
Oh, it's very small.
It's not like there aren't enough people to really consider it to be like an actual thing, right? It's mostly used in media and in, like, propaganda to be like, well, this is why we,
it is rare.
This is why cops need tanks, because there might be
a serial
killer. Dexter might get you, like
no, there's usually
it's
like
not like a real thing. I don't know.
It's theorized that there's
anyone
like
who's telling you there's a serial killer in
killers.
Austin. Yeah. Anyone who's telling you that like the Rainy Street Killer is a real thing and not just the fact that there's like a bar, like an entire like bar district right next to a river, and they put a fence up, and suddenly all the killing stopped. Like,
they found another body recently.
They're always gonna find bodies, Brad. It's a fucking river in the middle of a city.
Look,
that doesn't mean there's a goddamn serial killer. Like,
it says the serial killer. You're deflecting pretty good there.
You're right.
I just want to point out.
Where was I last Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pointing out that it's I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it is like speculated.
Look, I know
that
everyone's
like
gonna come for me on that
killers
one. People,
at any given time.
Like, serial killers are just kind of like, I'll give it. My worldview includes serial killers because I've heard about them in the media. Like, but that's not like.
Okay,
it's like dying in a space shuttle explosion. It's happened, but it's not going to happen to you. Like, I don't know.
That's
anyway,
fair. I mean,
this is.
I think.
So as a fantasy game, as much as this is, I feel like the developers could make something really cool if they got approved to do a sequel. They just need to expand the open world. They need to have more bespoke story content.
We need to tread lightly, is I think what they need
and
to do.
tread fucking lightly. Yeah. I kind of like it, but it's got a lot of rough stuff. So anyway, that's the Precinct.
Word. Okay. Cool.
I also want to quickly mention that I finished Deliver at All Costs.
The game that Brad was mentioning was a failure for, was it Konami? Is it a Konami?
Sales-wise, yeah.
This looks like no one bought it.
Yeah, because it's $30 and it's a 12-hour game.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very positive about it last time I talked about it. This game hits a brick fucking wall with its story that it does not recover from in the last act.
Damn.
And in fact, it ends on this narrative cliffhanger that is the least earned thing I've seen in years. Like, no, this is not okay. I mean, that's it. It's got a great gameplay idea, and the first 2/3 of it is just lots of goofy fun. But it just falls a fucking part when you move to the third act. So
just doesn't. It's kind of like Dying Light 2, but sorry.
It's legitimately interesting sounding premise and what they're trying to do with the sci-fi elements, but they don't fucking deliver in any way, shape, or form.
What did you just say? Sci-fi elements?
It's sci-fi. The plot is sci-fi, and it gets kind of nuts.
Aliens, Crispy. There's aliens.
Oh, it's beyond just aliens, man. There's so much
serial
more.
Killers and aliens? Come on. Pick a fantasy, guys.
Crispy believes in aliens, but not serial killers.
No, okay, you don't want to fucking talk to me.
No, I don't. I didn't mean to open that can of worms. Let's move on.
Don't bring up aliens with the Star Trek guy.
What do you mean when you say believes in aliens?
I'm not gonna answer that question. All right.
No, I don't think Earth has ever been visited by extraterrestrial life forms.
What about octopuses?
I think
cephalopods.
Yeah, cephalopods. Crazy though. They're fucking crazy.
They are. They are. Life is crazy, Brad.
It is.
Brad, what makes you think an octopus evolved on another planet and came here? Why couldn't it not just evolved here?
Dude, look up.
It had to evolve somewhere.
They are the closest thing to an alien.
Yeah. Also, they're like almost as smart as humans. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. They have like 8 brains. Like, they're crazy.
It's pretty cool. Actually.
They're great.
All right.
I love them.
Also,
all right, real quick,
just one last thing I want to throw out.
You're killing me.
I am 2/3 of the way through Star Wars Outlaws,
which is, I would rather jump out a window than hear someone talk about Star Wars.
I'm not
going
to talk about it. I just mentioned
I'm
that
a
I'm
Star
playing
Wars
it.
haters, and Nick's about to say he loves it. Whatever. I don't give a shit.
We
got to talk about the Switch too, bro.
I liked it.
Yes, we do need to talk about the Switch
too.
Because we have not talked about it since, and at this point, we all have Switch 2s, right? All 4 of us here.
I just set mine up today.
Wait, you did get a Switch
That's
2?
one more step than I am.
Oh, is it like you got the homie discount on this shit?
I got the details of the arrangement are not important, but
I know what that means.
Yeah,
fallacious details. I mean, salacious details.
Fallacious details.
Fallacious details. Yeah, felonious. Yeah, I got one, but I haven't played anything on it yet. But I'm going out of town at the end of the week, and I'll be gone for 10 days, so I'll probably be playing a lot.
Word.
Okay.
So look, I will say I don't want to talk a ton about this. Because I don't know honestly how much there is to talk about at this point. Brad, I would imagine you've probably played a few things other than Mario Kart on the Switch.
I mean,
I have
all I'm
only
doing
touched
is playing
Mario Kart.
things other than Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Well, just
I've been getting back into Tactics Ogre. You know, I've been playing Lumines Remastered.
Just real quick, just general thoughts on like hardware feel and all that stuff. I mean, I
don't. It's just another Switch, dude.
It's
like
hard
my
to
hands
gauge.
are cramping. I'm waiting for my grip to get here because it doesn't feel good to play in handheld mode for long periods of time.
I will say this, and I this is not necessarily meant to be like a commentary on like the quality of the system or anything like that. It's just more of like, generally speaking, this has probably been the most underwhelming like new hardware launch maybe ever.
You know why it's
for
so
me.
underwhelming? It's because like from like the not the software side, but like the software side of the hardware, like the UI and all this, like there's no like new bits and bobs like in the system.
It's the same
software.
Yeah.
The OS is just so uninspired and the same.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it's
you
not
know,
even that it's uninspired. It is
but
the same.
But also, it's like, man, there's no music or anything, or there's no themes. There's no new options really outside of this camera bullshit, which I don't care about. And like, it just feels like this. I would have been disappointed with this launch if it was like the Switch Pro, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like, it doesn't feel like a new console in terms of like that stuff, which in the end doesn't really fucking matter, right? But like, it's the kind of stuff that you geek out about at the launch of a new system isn't really present here. That's probably why they made that stupid fucking game that they're charging for that they shouldn't have. What's it called?
Yeah.
Like if that was on the system, like maybe some of that excitement for new hardware would be there. But because they're charging $10 for it, what is it called?
Welcome Tour.
I don't remember.
Welcome Tour. They're charging for Welcome Tour. Seems like so
insane.
stupid.
It's so stupid.
I hear it's dumb, but like it would have felt like a new system maybe if that thing was on the hardware.
Yeah,
it's a little weird, but I don't care. I mean, I didn't buy it to like.
I bought it to be ready for Donkey Kong and Metroid. That's what I bought it for.
That's the point for me.
Me too. Yeah.
Also, based on what Brad said, I've been like, I reinstalled, not reinstalled. I installed for the first time Bayonetta 3.
There you go, dude. There you go.
I still have never touched that game.
It's a good video game. It's a good,
but it runs apparently better on the Switch too.
A lot better,
right out of the box.
And a lot of stuff is like that, which is nice. Like, I'm not like embarrassed to like have my son play a Pokemon game now because some of them actually run a lot better, or acceptably now.
You're no son of mine.
Well, mostly he didn't play Pokemon games before because he didn't know how to read yet, and they don't ever have voice acting because the Pokemon company doesn't have enough money, I guess, for voice acting. I've been told. So I don't know. Or voice acting's more expensive than you think, bro. Literally, they're telling me, and it's the Pokemon company. But whatever. Hey, whatever.
That's like Disney telling you they don't have enough money.
Yeah, for anything. Anyways, it's neat. I mean, Mario Kart is the thing, right? Like the big launch title is Mario Kart, and it is. I like
neat.
The
magnetic.
I will say
Joy-Cons.
It is not.
I will say that
Burnout Paradise / Forza Horizon like I wanted.
I have footage. I have Mario Kart footage. Roll that shit.
It's playing.
Can I just say
it's a fun Mario Kart game if you like.
Yeah, it is a fun Mario Kart game, and this footage that you're gonna watch, I'm pretty sure, is predominantly just races, which is just like vanilla ass Mario Kart, with just like really elaborate maps and shit. And tracks that are really fun, and I'm really enjoying doing the cups and stuff. But I am color me like very disappointed. I was under the assumption that this was going to be modeled after like Forza Horizon or Burnout Paradise or something like that, where you're like driving around the world and like starting races organically. Because like the blueprint for that is there, but they're two separate modes. You have to access them separately. It's
not just that, but like the free roam mode seems so weirdly.
I don't fucking know. I'm driving around the free world.
No, you do stuff.
There's challenges and shit.
Challenges all over the place. I don't entirely understand what I'm unlocking by doing those challenges, but there are challenges all over the place, and there are like outfit things that you can find to unlock outfits. But
I always feel like
it feels very like you could just keep switching characters and unlocking outfits, and it's like this is not a rewarding way of unlocking outfits. But it is the easiest way to obtain outfits. Is just to switch your character, get the pickup. Switch your character, get the pickup. Switch your character, get the pickup. Over and over and over again.
Oh,
it seems kind of stupid.
So it's like the free roam mode is more like the crypt in Mortal Kombat games. Like,
I mean, yeah, kind of.
There's more to it than that.
I feel like
it's just not well. It's
did
like,
you play that last one? The crypt
I
was
did.
pretty fleshed out. It was kind of cool.
No. It just
the crypt has always been cool.
You can tell that the open world aspect of it is not the main focus, and I feel like it should have been. It's what I was.
It's
hoping
called
it would
World.
be.
Yeah,
it's called
Mario Kart World. The world's seamlessly connected. You can just.
I was baffled.
There are challenges and stuff all over the place. So like there is stuff to find and do out in the world. But I'm saying you should be doing that with people more like easily, and like it should be the focus, you know? Like you should just hop into a world with friends and then get into like races and challenges, like how they do it in like Forza or Burnout Paradise or any of these other open world racing games from the past decade and a half or whatever the fuck, right? Like it's so weirdly like, you know, it's like, you know, Nintendo is a little bit like, you know, why can't you just be normal, right? Like they do amazing stuff, but it's like just like for some of the things they should just be normal and copy what the other people are doing and not pretend like they're inventing something every time they do something slightly different, you know?
Especially when it's
like
not actually inventing something.
Well, you know, but you know how they are. It's like they refuse to play anybody else's video games, you know. So like when they do something, they're not like, you know, they're not doing research into other open world racing games. They're going to do it their way.
What's going on?
Yeah, you get that vibe. I mean, you get that vibe with like Hideo Kojima, but like quotation marks positive, right? Mm-hmm. Or parentheses positive, but with Nintendo, it's like parentheses negative.
Look how clutch this win is, by the way. Ooh, shit.
No one gives a shit. It's just Mario Kart, dude. Like, and in the same ways, it's like bullshit, right? You'll be doing really good. You'll eat a bunch of shit, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm not getting first this time, you know, and it feels bad. But like, yeah, the races just feel like Mario Kart. I mean, you can like grind, but like grinding doesn't feel good. Like the tricks feel okay. Like kind of when you get up on walls and stuff, but you can only do it in some places. That feels good. I
like the planes. Like when you get wings and you're flying them.
Yeah, but like that's not even the first time they've done that shit, right? Like I mean, even within the series.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've played a Mario Kart game, to be honest. So it felt kind of new to me, but I know it's not.
You know, that's the thing, right? It's like every aspect is done a little bit better elsewhere, you know, and it has been for years, right? Like Diddy Kong's racing and Wipeout and Twist, like even the battle mode, right? Is like this got mogged by Twisted Metal 2 decades ago, more than 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, damn it. You know, and it's still the same old, like, I don't know, but it's nice. It's like running well. It's a nice new hardware. Like you definitely like feel the power of a Switch 2 when you're playing this, which is nice, right? But you know, it's not like Mario Kart on the Switch 1 ran like shit or anything. Yeah. But like, you know, they have like the new knockout mode, but like, again, maybe when they're marketing it, like, check out this new mode where the people in the back lose the race. They get eliminated. And like, dude, that mode has existed in so many racing games for so many years. It's not that it's not fun, but like, it doesn't feel special. I don't know.
The only thing that hurt, because like it's not that I don't have any problem with this existing, and it doesn't. I don't even. It's not even like it's a bad like launch title. It's just like the fact that it's kind of
not bad at all. Like
it's the
like my
launch
children
title.
are thrilled by this game.
Yeah,
but I'm not a child, so I don't. Mario Kart is stupid.
I've been trying to get my child to play it. She's
have
opposable thumbs.
I've never like really loved Mario Kart, so I'm no like person here to talk much about Mario Kart, but it's because of shit like that. Like, right? Like you couldn't do anything about that. I feel like in Twisted Metal, there's like, you know, you can like dodge out of the way of like powers and like do things about it, activate your shield, and you can kind of do it and do stuff like that in this game, but it's so like happenstance. Do I have the right item at the right time? And is it, you know, it's there's skill, but it's still so much is like left to chance and timing. Like, yeah, I don't know, whatever.
You know,
Mario
it's
Kart's
just
great. But
Mario Kart's fine and everything. It's just it's weird to me.
I thought
that,
this was going to be the Breath of the Wild moment for Mario Kart, and it's just not.
It's definitely not.
that.
Not even close. Yeah. And like it just seems a little strange because Donkey Kong Bonanza is dropping in July, like next month, and it's like I almost feel like they should have just waited and like shipped this console with that.
I hate to break it to you, Nick, but Mario Kart's a much bigger deal than Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
I guess so.
But
at least there would have been choices.
To
It's
one
like,
easy.
like imagine if the Switch 2 came out and it had you had a choice between Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, I just feel like this, like I think back to like when the Xbox 360 launched and I had like a choice between like 4 or 5 games, and it's like this. I mean, I know technically
but those games
choices.
were like not. Most of those games were not like launches are usually pretty bad. What feels weird about this one is you could tell they were very selective with what companies they would let do like some third party stuff like ports and shit, and beyond that they like shut everything down. Like there could have been like more stuff at launch if Nintendo wasn't weird about it, right?
Yeah.
Like even like the big indies, they're making the big indies wait, which is probably why we don't have dates for like certain big indie games, right? Like a Hades or a Silk Song, right? Because they're probably trying to get their games natively launched on the Switch too. And right now, any fucking 99% of indie games are still like they're Switch 1 releases that can run on Switch 2. There's like besides like Fast Fusion, which is like this F-Zero knockoff that they always let launch on their Nintendo hardware because I don't know, it gives them excuse not to have to make F-Zero. It's so weird that there's a Fast Fusion game at the Switch 2 launch and like nothing else indie, but whatever. Very weird. But whatever. Mario Kart's nice. I mean, the hardware is, I kind of wish it was an OLED screen, and I kind of wish, it felt a little bit better in my hands, but whatever. I got a grip on the way. Whatever. It's a Switch.
Yep, fair enough. So we'll have more to say about the Switch 2 as more stuff comes out on it. Obviously, it's just been kind of an underwhelming launch.
We just need some games we care about.
Yeah, we just need more games.
Whatever.
I'm genuinely excited.
It does have a game people care about in Mario Kart. Most launches are like, I guess I have to care about Resistance: Fall of Man now because I got a new system and I have to find a title to latch onto. You know what I mean? Like a lot of launches are just kind of like that. Like even like like GameCube had Luigi's Mansion. Like back then, it kind of felt like bullshit. Right?
I still think the launch of the PS4 is like one of the most magical launches.
Magical? What the fuck?
Wait, what?
The PS4 had?
What are you talking about,
dude? We had
Resogun?
We had everybody over at our apartment playing fucking Astro's Playroom and stuff. And
well, that was us having a fun experience together.
Yeah, we were having
That's
fun
what
as
I'm
friends. That game sucked.
That's
literally
what I'm saying. It's saying it was a magical experience.
That's
no, seriously, what did the PS4 have?
It had Killzone and Astro's Playroom and there was I had 3 games on launch.
Astro's Playroom was PS5.
Is that what I'm thinking of? PS5?
Yeah. Like Astro's Playroom was cool.
Oh yeah, right. You're right.
PS4 had some like Astro's.
Oh my god, you're right. I was thinking of PS5. Like you're right.
Stuff.
Sorry, not PS4. PS5 is what I was thinking of.
But PS5 launch also didn't really have much shit beyond that.
Wait a second. No, I'm thinking of PS4.
Yeah. PS4 did not have Astro's Playroom. Astro's Playroom is the pack-in.
Yeah, I was living with Nolan. Not Astro's Playroom. Whatever the one where you could like suck the robots up into your butt. Yeah.
Just like the tech demo stuff for the fucking camera. Yeah. It was called something, but yeah.
I had 3 games on launch.
I think it was back then. It wasn't called Astro's anything. It was called Playroom, and Astro was in it.
Very true.
Something like that. Anyways,
I'm just saying that was a great night.
PSVR.
I think his name is Astrobot.
I'm not talking about Rescue Mission. God damn it.
No.
I was talking about literally.
I know what he's talking about. It's Playroom. I think it's called Playroom.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else did the PS4 have? Resogun.
I had 3 physical games on PS4 launch night. Like
but how many of those games do you still talk about?
I'm not saying they're like my favorite games of all time.
What were the 3 games? Also, like
Killzone, Shadows Fall.
rich bitch. You bought 3 games at the launch of the PS3.
Assassin's Creed Black
money.
Flag. Assassin's Creed
Black Flag was a cross-gen title. I mean,
I know, but I didn't play it. It's like it's the same thing as fucking Breath of the Wild. I played it
but
on
like
PS4.
people who've never played Cyberpunk because they're Nintendo guys have a sick-ass game to play at launch.
Look, bitch, you're giving me too much shit. I was just saying the PS4 launch was a very magical night. This was nothing compared to that. That's all I'm saying.
PS4?
That's all I'm saying.
Was Flower a launch title?
Flower.
That's PS3,
No.
bro.
Yeah.
Wrong generation.
No. Oh wait, that's right. He's saying PS4. Yeah, Black Flag and Resogun. Knack.
Knack. It was Knack. I had Knack. Yeah.
Was it? Is that true?
Yes.
See, that's like sucker bullshit. Like that just destroys your entire argument. You couldn't find anything, so you bought Knack.
It was
This is a launch where everyone agreed this is the game we get. And for some of them, it was bundled in.
It was not a launch title. You probably wouldn't have bought it day one.
Hey, look,
Exactly.
we're adults now, and I don't invite friends over to play video games as adults. So, like, Mario Kart kind of didn't hit the same. All right. I was living with Nolan at the time. It was different.
You bought Knack.
It was different.
It was different.
It was a different time.
You were different.
I was different. All right, guys.
Knack
I don't want
is
to.
I feel.
Can we?
No, this is about. Yeah, we can move on from Mario Kart. We're done. I will say, was watching Northern Lion, who's like a trivia genius, right? He just knows a lot of things. It's crazy. He got to the cover of Knack, like he was doing the one where like you could see like different quadrants of the cover of a video game. And he was just the cover of Knack, and he still had no idea what it was. That's how much Knack has fallen into obscurity. Northern Lion did not recognize Knack. That's fucked up.
That's crazy. All right. I just want to really quickly. We haven't talked about Summer Game Fest, and I know there's a lot of stuff. We don't have to go through all that shit. I do at the very least want to make sure we talk about the surprise announcement of Resident Evil Requiem, because Resident Evil 9.
Well, not a surprise announcement, but
Well, I mean, people were expecting it. They did
announcement.
this weird bait and switch thing where they made it sound like it needed more time in the oven and they weren't going to announce it, and then they're like, "Psych, here it is." Like, what was that?
Stupid.
What was that about?
Just stupid. I don't know.
It's fucking dumb.
They thought it was going to be a fun idea. They had Lady D, and I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? But I mean, whatever. We saw the game. It looks fucking cool, right? And there is more detailed hands-on impressions for people who played it at SGF, and I encourage people to look that stuff up.
Yeah.
I saw the hat. It busted. It did not hold.
Yeah, it did
The
not
back of
hold.
it-
Yeah, it did not.
It busted. It could not
Yeah.
take it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Chris Davis's melon head.
The trauma that you just did to that cap.
Well, I bought 2 of them. It's
Anyways.
okay.
Chris Davis decided to put his Raccoon City Police Department hat on. More propaganda for you.
Propaganda.
Dude,
That better be the fucking episode title, by the way.
I've already used that. I'm pretty sure we've already used
We
propaganda.
talk
as
about
the episode
propaganda
title.
a lot.
Speaking of cops, you play as Leon Kennedy in this game. We don't know that from the trailer that they showed, but
that's
the
not
main
confirmed.
It is confirmed. Well, it is confirmed by Dust Golem, who leaked everything else about this game.
Dust Golem has said a lot of things over
Wait
the
a
years,
second.
though.
I was gonna bring up
No,
the fact that
but he was right about this one.
Wait, what? I was gonna say that everything Dust Golem said was wrong. What are you talking about?
Well, no. You don't know the full story. You've not been following this like I've been following.
I mean, I did
he
get off
said
Twitter a
nothing
long
about
time ago,
Grace.
so the last
No,
thing
he
I
said
read
there was going to be another playable character. I mean,
the last thing I remember Dust Golem
way.
saying is that it took place in the Philippines.
Oh well, no, that stuff is. Look, you got to be careful with the Dust Golem stuff you're spouting, but he was right about a lot of things related.
Dust
to this.
Golem is right until he's wrong. Gotcha.
Okay, well, tell me what he was right about, because I apparently am not in the know.
No, we can't get into it. It's so much stuff, but
I don't want it to be
he
Leon.
is saying, huh? Yeah, it's
want it to
Leon.
be
If he's right, and we're trusting him now. We weren't trusting him last year, but we're trusting him this year.
We have a new lady character. Why do we?
We have the daughter of a character from
Outbreak.
Outbreak, which is weird, who died tragically. I'm curious if they're gonna. I don't think did she die in Outbreak? I have not played through the Outbreak games.
Okay, so like, it is a scenario-based thing. It doesn't. There's everyone survives and everyone doesn't survive. Like, it depends on how the game plays through.
Can I say that? And maybe I don't want to get off topic, but I think Resident Evil fans. I'm not trying to be mean.
Oh, God.
But I go into a Resident Evil thread on Reset Era, and 90% of the posts are about lore and characters.
Oh, and God, here we fucking go.
No one is talking about what this video game is and how it plays, and it's driving me crazy. It's driving me fucking crazy. I am not exaggerating when I say 90% of the posts. Fact check me on that. Pull up the Resident Evil 9 thread.
I believe you.
Y'all have
I care about that stuff. Of course I believe you. I'm just saying, like,
it's all they care about.
Okay.
It's so
You
weird.
have made your opinions about Resident Evil lore and the fact that you think people care too much about it for years. Like, that's been
we all agree that it's not something that people should care too much about.
No, you just keep saying that over and over again until people just get tired of arguing with you and agree with you.
You can't keep saying it and try to make it a fact. Sometimes it's just not that
That
reality.
is not... That it's like watching a schlocky movie horror.
He's not
and
saying
then
you shouldn't enjoy it.
It shouldn't be all that you
like,
talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it shouldn't. The integrity of it shouldn't be a concern.
Like people are saying
there is no integrity.
Oh, you play as Leon? I'm not even playing this one. Like, think about how insane that would be.
I didn't say that, first of all.
I didn't say you said.
I thought you said I said that.
In terms on the spectrum of
Nick's on
of
the
Resident
spectrum.
Evil fans, you are closer to the normal side. Chris Davis is a little far gone, but even he's not that bad compared to some of these people. It's it's weird. It's fucking weird.
He said it's gross. He almost said it's gross.
90% of the people are just talking about characters and lore. And I am fascinated by what this game is in terms of the way it plays. Now, we know it has both third person and first person. Do we talk about this recently?
We have not talked about it yet, but the weirdest thing is that it's confirmed to switch between first and third person, but you have to go into the menu to make the switch. It's not like on the fly. Like, you can't just... Yeah. Which I think is crazy. Like, I'm thinking about like a game like Holston, which is coming out, which literally lets you go from like top-down isometric into first-person over-the-shoulder third-person shooting.
It's because those modes are not like I get it. I understand why they're doing it, because it's not like a camera. It's not just a camera change. Like, I think those modes are built very differently, and I think they have to be for them to both be good. And I think they want them to both be good. So I kind of get it.
Well, of course they want them to both be good. I'm just saying, like.
Well,
if
like,
you can't
it's not just they're pulling the camera in on a third person character that can, or zooming out on a first person character, because I think those characters are built in the way they interact with the environment are built very differently.
I guess
I think they have to be for both of it.
I guess what I'm getting at is that, like, it's being described as like, oh, it switches between first and third person, when to me, really what it sounds like is you can just pick whichever one you prefer, and that's the way you're going to play it.
No, but there is like so they suggest, like, the game suggests which mode to be in during different sequences. I think you always have the option.
That just sounds lame that I then have to go into a menu to manually trigger that switch. I don't know. It just
like, you're gonna get into the spooky mansion or whatever, and you're gonna switch to first person.
I mean, the demo that all the previews have been happening
based.
and covering in the press has been an interior, like, hide from the monster, try to get through a puzzle door.
I'm just saying,
demo.
I mean, I get it. I get the idea that it's going from third person. Like, they recommend being in first person for this part and third person for this part. It just seems to me like the better move would have been to, if there are certain areas of the game where it is designed and it is highly recommended you play from a certain perspective, they would just make the switch for you. Like,
I think
you go into a place and it's like go into first person for you.
I think it's because of the weird Resident Evil fans who want to see the girl. I don't know, dude. I don't know. All I know is Leon's probably supposed to be in third person, and then like this spooky moments where you're walking around as the girl. You're probably supposed to be in first person, but
How many Resident Evils besides 5 are based on a premise that isn't, well, Umbrella's up to their bullshit again?
no, that's all of them.
That's
all of
Every
them.
single one of them. Even 5?
Everyone.
Even 5.
Especially
Okay, so-
Why?
Yeah, that's
I don't
wild
take it
that,
seriously.
like, yeah, come on. What are we talking about?
That is
They
the
have a
overarch.
Porting
That's a
Vampire
comic
Man.
book. Like,
Yes.
Yes, it is. But like the argument that there's something wrong with that, I think, is the problem.
no one said that.
So like,
Brad
here's the
seems
thing.
to
Here's
think
the thing.
that's a
Here's the
problem.
thing. Here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing.
No,
But,
it's like
I
I
think
was
no, Nick.
saying, it's
It's
not
okay. It's
about-
okay. I'm saying you should feel bad, and I know you're upset about that, and whatever. That's fine. That's fine. We agree to
Yeah, go
disagree.
fuck yourself.
But let me give a different example of where this happens. It happens with like Kojima
Star
games,
Wars?
right? Like Metal Gear Solid is a game that I think has like a lot of like amazing rich gameplay. But like usually when people start getting into like the Kojima lore, all they want to talk about is like the story and the characters and the connections and the nano machines. And I get it. There's a lot. Those are like very like story focused games, but like also Hideo Kojima is fucking out there, man, and he's doing some weird crazy shit, and he's on something, whatever, or he can see the future. We haven't decided what the fuck is going on with Hideo Kojima. So I get that there's threads and threads and posts and posts and posts about the story and the characters and the lore of it, Hideo Kojima.
But you don't think Resident Evil deserves that kind of... I get it.
Absolutely fucking not.
But like, dude, I get it. What do you want me to do? Like, it's...
Talk to your people.
I fucking hate this conversation, and you make us have it every single fucking time we talk about Resident Evil. It drives me fucking crazy.
It
drives me crazy.
Play that.
Yeah, I was planning to, and then you went on a tangent about people
have you heard
should be
about
ashamed of themselves for being
heard about
into
the
the
new
lore.
big? Yeah, ashamed. Yes. Have you heard about the big new stalker enemy?
Yes.
Is that the thing in the trailer that like
The
drops
ceiling
down
monster?
off the
Yes.
ceiling?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yes.
Dude. I think this game.
Also, there's all these people talking about how
spooky.
there's all these
Quite
people
spooky.
talking about how it's heavily rumored that Lisa Trevor from the Resident Evil 1 remake is back, and which is cool. It's a cool thought. That's lore, Brad, and that's cool shit.
But
like,
there's also been
people
some
were like-
speculation that you may even go back to Raccoon Forest.
People were like pointing at this trailer and like, look at the background of this thing. Last night we were watching it on Trailer Talk.
It was
I
the-
like, dude,
yeah.
that's
horse.
the that's a horse statue in the background, and he was
Yeah.
like, huh. I think you're right. It's a horse statue. Everyone was saying the horse statue was Lisa Trevor. It's just sorry.
It can be fun to do these kinds of crazy deep dives into this.
I
shit.
think the coolest we haven't really even mentioned like the fact that like for like the actual setting of this game is like nuked Raccoon City.
Yes.
Like
which is a cool setting. Settings can
badass.
be cool, absolutely. And like the stupid ass vampire man that made it that way, whatever. Look, I'm not trying to pick on Resident Evil. I feel the same way about like people who do this shit with Zelda. Like, you're crazy. What are you doing? It's not good enough for that. I'm not trying to pick on Resident Evil.
But you are. What the
fans a
fuck are you
little bit.
talking about? You totally are.
Because I'm combing these threads for like juicy information about what this video game
There's
is.
just
and
not a
they
ton
won't
of it
shut
out there
the
yet,
fuck
Brad.
up.
There's not a ton of it out there. There's more
But
lore stuff out there than
played
gameplay
it, man.
stuff.
People have played it.
Yeah.
I know.
Then
I've
just
read all
watch
that shit.
read the threads by the people who played it. Don't pay attention to speculation from a community that's not played
I have
it.
read the threads, dog. They're not talking about that. Stop.
Talk about like watch those videos, listen to those previews. Like,
Oh man. Yeah, I know, but like I'm saying, like I want the sickos. Like I don't want just the IGN take on it. I want the sickos to break down the stuff that I'm interested in. Like they're doing that for like Final Fantasy Tactics, right? They're analyzing every UI element and like every split second of every little footage we've seen to figure out what exactly is this video game. I want that for Resident Evil because I love Resident Evil. That's the thing. People, you could think that I would hate Resident Evil being like this, but it's not true. I love Resident Evil.
well, you gotta
I'm
wait until they
excited for
actually
this
show a
video game.
combat video or some like just like cutscene trailer.
Like
You
the
gotta
stuff
wait,
that Dust
dog.
Golem says about like the ambitious, like they're doing ambitious shit with this game, with the structure of this game. It was going to be like this open world thing, but they've kind of scaled it back. But what is it going to be? That's what I'm super excited.
I mean, I'm into that shit too, but
like, are there going to be vehicles?
Oh God,
I mean,
That's crazy.
what do you mean? Oh God, that's
crazy.
Vehicles are exciting if they help you get around an environment.
What if it's dead?
Like, look at
right?
Resident Evil 5.
Oh.
Resident Evil 5 had the boat level. That was the best fucking shit in that game. I want an evolution of that.
I mean, you're talking like
Let me
you
drive
two.
around
You are
Raccoon
talking to
City.
someone who also considers themselves to be a huge Resident Evil fan. I know.
Tyrant in
I'm
the
very,
tank.
I'm very excited to find out more about
Give me a tank,
Resident Evil
dude.
9.
Let me open up secrets with my tank cannon. Fuck yeah, dude. No one else.
like, yeah. I mean, I don't know, the story stuff. I don't know, man. It's like, aren't the moments between the characters like the
Nothing
sauce?
burgers? No.
No, I thought that was like, well,
Wait, are you talking about The Last of Us? What are we talking about here?
no, I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. The story. I'm trying to communicate what you're saying about the quality of the story in Resident Evil without, the sort of baggage and like, ugh, I don't care, like, I don't know. Like, I none of you guys ever like read comics growing up, right?
Not.
I mean,
It
unfortunately
depends on.
not.
Not to the extent that you probably did.
No, but I mean, like, you haven't like followed a character for a long time and been like, oh, there's always something else. There's always a big twist. There's always like some big shakeup in the status quo, and then everything. When we get tired of that, we go back to the status quo, and then something new happens, and we're like, whoa, let's go. Batman has a mech now, and then he doesn't have a mech anymore, and then you're like, oh, Batman's blind now, and then he's not blind anymore, and then you're like, Batman's crazy now, and then he's not crazy anymore. Like, I just mean, like, when you follow like long form fiction like that, I don't understand how like the lore can even matter. Like, everything has happened. Everything is true.
I mean, I think we're just getting.
Nanomachine, son.
Can we? Here's the
No,
thing. We're
yeah,
just
okay,
we're getting
okay.
bought.
I'm
Like
not-
it's
yeah,
not.
You're right.
No,
I'm not. We're not. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
It's
I
a
would
big
never
topic, and I just looked at the time.
It's not a
Holy
useful conversation.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
we
But I
need to
mean,
move
that
on.
is definitely one of the biggest things at SGF for sure. Maybe the biggest.
There were a couple. I'm just gonna like rapid
and
fire
it
a
comes out
couple
soon.
things.
It comes out soon.
It comes out in February, which is
Dude,
super
I really
exciting.
like the Batman mech because the Batman mech wasn't piloted by Bruce Wayne. It was piloted by Jim Gordon, which was really weird. It didn't last for long, but it was kind of sick. There was a time
sounds
when
fun.
Bruce Wayne wasn't Batman, but Jim Gordon was. He was a corporate-sponsored Batman, sponsored by the Powers Corporation, and he had a mech, and it had, like, police lights on it because he was working for the GCPD. I'm sorry, like...
That sounds
Stupid shit is awesome, Nick. Like,
I'm
stupid
not-
shit is the coolest shit in the world.
I
Okay.
agree.
I'm
I
not
agree.
saying that.
I know.
You know what's? It's
You're right.
funny.
You're right.
You were
I know,
asking.
I know.
It was- Here's funny. It's funny. You were asking about how you said have you never followed like a character for so many years and just seen them go through like.
Dexter, kind of.
I was like,
right?
it's fucking Dexter. I've been following this character since 2007.
But even
It is
more like
2025.
it's like Buffy or like Supernatural. Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
look at Supernatural. Like,
Which. Oh, never mind. Don't
fall
get me
for it.
started.
No,
Don't
no,
do it.
no, 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 no.
Don't get me
He's got a
started on post season
Supernatural
5 Supernatural.
No. I saw a great meme, a D&D meme that used Supernatural the other day where it was like the level 1 party and it's the two of them being like, we can't fight demons, they're like insane. And then it's like the level 15 party and they're like knocking on the door and they're like, Satan, you gotta come out and talk to God, okay? Like,
Yeah, that's literally that's accurate.
Like when you have an arc like that, nothing matters. Like, I don't know.
It's funny. It nothing matters, but like if you talk to the people who follow it
I
and
know,
care about
I
it,
know,
it fucking
I know.
matters.
I know. Star Wars is a perfect example of this.
Yes.
Star Trek
Except
is...
Resident Evil isn't a television show / movie.
It's a
Brett,
video
shut the
game.
fuck
is
up.
a
It's the same
video
concept.
game.
It's the same
An
concept.
action game, a horror game, and it's fun.
E- ev-
And
just let the conversation die, Brad. Just let the fucking conversation die.
We should wrap things up.
I know.
It's pretty cool.
I'm just trying to be funny.
Can we
here,
just
that's all.
can we just skip the 4-player minute? Because I do want to just rattle off a couple quick.
Yeah,
or maybe
that's fine.
or maybe we should just
we can skip the 4-player minute. What do you got?
Okay.
What are you so desperate to talk about?
Well, no, I just want there was
I feel
actually
like we've been
lot
talking
of
about
shit.
this shit for weeks.
A lot of shit from State of Play that and Summer Game Fest that are worth mentioning. Just real briefly, they announced the new Lumines Arise, which is fucking badass.
Sorry?
Pragmata got a release window of 2026. That game from Capcom.
It actually exists, and we saw gameplay. Yeah,
and it looks cool as shit. Little robot girl that rides around on your back.
That part is the weird part.
That is
weird. A new grasshopper game, Romeo is a Dead Man, which I was like, looks like, are we watching a new like fucking No More Heroes? I wasn't sure. Silent Hill F is coming out in September. That's fucking crazy. There's a sequel to Bloodstained, The Scarlet Engagement, which still somehow looks different but ugly as hell.
Bloodstained's so sick.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy. I can't even listen to that slander anymore.
What?
You guys are insane.
I was just saying that it was ugly.
Okay, it looks like a fucking video game at most, and you guys are always
It
like,
looks like
"Oh,
a-
my virgin eyes! I've never seen such horror."
Okay, we get on in happier news. Final Fantasy Tactics remake is the thing. It's happening. That was like,
Video Leak
Brad's
continues
wet
to
dream.
deliver.
Yeah, Final
Bloodstained
Fantasy
is
Tactics.
almost,
the
it's not my
cross.
dream, but it was gonna be my 4-player minute. But I guess I'll save it for next.
I mean,
week.
would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, I feel like I've been talking about all this shit constantly, so it's a little weird. But I guess we haven't.
None of it has been
podcasted
said
it.
on the podcast, which is the difference.
Well, it's been said on stream for sure,
but not everybody. This is for the people who download the show and listen to it on the go. God
Yes.
damn it, Brad! Just get it out.
Yeah.
Or don't.
It's both very exciting and a little disappointing for me because I was hoping that it would get the treatment that Tactics Ogre Reborn got and that Tactics Ogre Let Us Clean Together got, which has been remade multiple times, full remakes, and this is mostly not a remake. It is
It's
a
like
remaster.
a half step.
They did well. It's not. It's just they're keeping the base game intact. It sounds like, but for me, at the end of the day, the reason I'm not as excited is because I wanted Final Fantasy Tactics, but I wanted it to really feel like a brand new experience because Tactics Ogre was that. It also got like a completely re-recorded soundtrack both times that it was remade. This is still the same soundtrack from the original Final Fantasy Tactics. I would have loved a re-recording. But I like in those first few days, it was disappointing because it really seemed like they weren't doing much. Especially they didn't have all the new stuff from the War of the Lions version, which is disappointing. But I have since learned a lot more about the game, and I am getting very excited. It is a retranslated script. It is not the War of the Lions script, which is a little disappointing, but they've recorded something that is a little more friendly to full voice acting, which the game does have now, which is really nice. This is definitely going to be the most like modern and playable, like quality of life, like version of the game. Like anyone who wants to experience Final Fantasy Tactics can experience this version. The thing I am like single-handedly most excited now, like for me, is that they have finally confirmed that there is a hard difficulty. There's also an easier difficulty, but there is a hard difficulty, which I'm very excited about. The most exciting thing about Tactics Ogre Reborn for me was that like it is a challenging game that really like can fuck you up, and I want that for Final Fantasy Tactics. And now that there's a and Matsuno said that, or the director said that like shit like you used to do, and he called out like fucking calculators using Holy on the entire battlefield on turn 1. You're not going to be able to do that shit in hard mode. So I'm excited to see what that means. So like the more and more details I get, the more excited I'm being. It is my favorite game of all time. So
and it's coming out in September.
I would love new music. I would love for them to have completely reinvented the gameplay style and the systems like they did with Tactics Ogre twice. But the thing people don't understand is that Tactics Ogre is the much more loved game in Japan. It's hard to believe because everywhere else, Final Fantasy Tactics is the loved one, and Tactics Ogre was just like the game that came before, right? But in Japan, it's the opposite. In Japan, it's like that's like Ocarina of Time to them. You know, it's like one of the it's a very loved game. And Final Fantasy Tactics is almost like an afterthought to them, and it's always been that way. Even since like fucking the release of those games, it's always been like that, which is weird. So that's probably why that game got so much more love. And that also Square Enix had a lot of like budget cuts in the past year or two,
right?
And it might be why there's not a new soundtrack for this game. But whatever.
Business Unit 3 is doing this, right?
Yes.
That's sick because their dialogue in 14 is very
good. It's good. It's good, sure. But Matsuno also said, like, you know, the shit I read before the show, you know, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
He is working on the project, but.
All right. Again, I want to just, I am kind of just jumping around. This is obviously not everything that was announced. It's just kind of like the highlights, right? They announced Neo 3. There's a demo out for Neo 3. I played it.
I played that.
Yeah.
I played that. I could have recorded footage and talked about it on the podcast.
There's always next week.
Always next week.
It's worth mentioning.
It's doing some things that are very different than the first two games.
It is definitely doing some things.
Again, originally had me crashing out, but it's better than I expected.
There's going to be a gameplay deep dive on Ghost of Yotai in July at a State of Play.
You really are just kind of like going over all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dick. I really didn't expect you to do this, which is why maybe I should have given you a little more runway. No, but like when you brought up a Suda game, which means you're kind of hitting a lot more than I was expecting. I thought you were gonna have mention 5 games or something that interested
I'm just hitting like there were some bigger things during the State of Play and fewer things in the other presentations. Yeah, State of Play was really good.
So much. It's
I also, if I was gonna do a 4-player minute this week, I would be talking about 007 First Light. IO Interactive's 007 game, which we talked about last time we recorded a podcast. We talked about it and my concerns. Because I'm not a huge Hitman guy, and I'm not saying those concerns are necessarily alleviated yet, because we haven't really seen much of it. But I wanted to bring it up because I was like absolutely fucking floored when they rolled the trailer, and it turns out the new Bond is played by Patrick Gibson, who is Dexter, and I'm just like, what the fuck? It's like all of my worlds are colliding, and it's kind of blowing my mind. But I think the game looks pretty, like the trailer anyways, makes it look fucking sick. I'm super excited for it. I want to know more about like structure and gameplay and all that stuff. But yeah,
for sure.
That's pretty fucking wild. They announced a new Marvel fighting game, Marvel Tokon.
That's a big
Fighting
one, right?
Souls. That's a huge one.
Tokon Fighting Souls or whatever, which is a Arc System Works developed fighting game, which looks really cool. But it's just 4-on-4, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They need to have a lot of characters at launch for that to even make sense, and I don't know if they are, because ArcSys doesn't usually launch with.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of like 4v4 experience they're talking about, because a lot of the people that like Maximilian did are speculating like maybe it's not necessarily 4 full characters that you're playing as, but like one primary.
No, they've
with
already
3
said.
backup.
They've already said you could like play as one character and just have the other characters as assists the entire time, or you could swap them out. So I think it's going to be more like it's not going to be like I think it's going to be like one life bar and you're dead kind of thing, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe.
It looks sick as hell.
Yeah, it looks good.
It does.
Looks good.
I wish I played fighting games because it looked sick as hell. And then that was kind of those the highlights from State of Play. Just a couple things I wanted to mention from the actual Summer Game Fest. Of course, we already mentioned Resident Evil Requiem. They announced
I mean from the showcase, the Keighley showcase.
Yeah, the Keighley showcase. Code Vein 2, which didn't see that coming. Atomic Heart 2, baby. I'm so fucking hyped for that. Oh my god, that trailer looks sick as hell. I'm so ready for that.
Feels like they turned that around really fast.
They did. They spent. I think it's because they spent so much time building the fucking tech for the first game.
Give me some juice. Do you care about the cube at all?
I mean, I cared about it until I heard the words MMO. But then again, the Dune Awakening game is an MMO. But Crispy's been playing 30 hours of that by himself, and it sounds pretty sick.
He can play the cube.
Nick's
give me the juice. You just mentioned COVID 2, and I'm about to crash out. Give me some good shit.
Onimusha Way of the Sword, we got a new look at that.
It looked good. It looked good.
Arc Raiders got a release date in October. And those are kind of the big things that I wrote down here anyways. There was...
it was kind of mid. It was kind of mid.
I mean, I think the State
Keighley
of Play
has been
was
consistently mid over
the State of Play was
years,
a big thing. And I'm not going to lie, I think the Xbox Showcase, which historically speaking, the past like 3 years or so, 4 years, maybe even going back to when we were actually going to E3 itself, they've been kind of stealing the show every year, and this year was just a flop. They didn't have any they didn't show us Fable, they didn't show us Perfect Dark, they didn't show us
or State of Decay,
or State of Decay 3, or like
or
kind of
the
any of
Rare
those
game,
big games. Yeah,
we got the next game from Double Fine. That's really about it.
Yeah, which looks wild.
Which just seems like I mean, who knows? It looks nice, but it's not.
And then they closed it out.
It's a game with no words.
Yeah,
from Double Fine, a studio we love.
I mean, so far that
writing.
we know of. There might be something.
I mean, you play as a bird and a moving lighthouse with legs.
Yeah,
whatever.
Probably not gonna be a ton of words.
We've got a release date for Ninja Gaiden 4, which looks super sick.
And
also Silk Song we know is coming out this year.
Fucking crazy Black Ops trailer,
dude. That was the. I was ill.
So
I was ill on the day that we were screening it, so I was like pushing. I was pushing through the illness to watch this showcase because, like I said, they've been really good the past several years, and I was like, they're gonna end on some hype shit. They're gonna end on some hype ass shit. And for a second, I was like, I don't know what this is. It looks wild. I was like, I went like back. I was like, this looks like Evil Within. Like, I don't know what the fuck this is. This is crazy looking. Black Ops 6.
Dude.
I just closed the call and I went to bed.
Some freak shit.
You did.
Some fucking freak cinema going on there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. All right, and that's kind of it. That's kind of it for recap. Again, there's a bunch of other stuff that was shown, but those are kind of the highlights. I would say.
The game of the show was Big Walk. Look it up.
Big Walk?
Big Walk looks so fucking good.
Oh, that's a cooking game where you have the giant...
No, Big Walk. Big Walk from the developer Untitled Goose Game. It was. They showed it at the Day of the Devs. It looks so fucking awesome.
You have a giant walk.
Real quick.
No, Big Walk, crispy.
Yeah, walk, big walk, stir fry.
Walk.
Okay. Real quick, I this happened after all of this stuff because Konami did a transmission, Silent Hill transmission. Bloober is working on a remake of the original Silent Hill now, which obviously, given the success of Silent Hill 2, not a huge surprise. But Silent Hill 1 is definitely the game that needed a remake more than 2, but 2 was an amazing remake, so that's super fucking exciting.
And then you can use what you built in that to go towards a 3 remake. Yeah.
Is Grounded 2 coming out this year?
Yeah. I think they said
that. In early access.
Outer Worlds 2 and Grounded 2 are all coming out this year.
That's
3
nuts.
games from Obsidian. And all the other companies that Microsoft bought aren't shipping games. That's absurd.
It's crazy. All right, guys. We've gone a little long, so like I said, we're not going to do a typical. Long. Yeah, we're not going to do a 4-player minute like we normally do. We got to get out of here. But again, we didn't record a show last week, so we had a lot to catch up on. We'll get back into the swing of things next week. We'll be back on Tuesday. We're coming up on Death Stranding 2. There's going to be some exciting stuff to talk about in the coming weeks. I know Crispy's hype, and so we're going to go ahead and get out of here for the night. But in the meantime, guys, we'd love to have you in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. Come and join us. We'd appreciate it. And, of course, you can find all of our previous episodes on your preferred podcast service or on 4playernetwork.com. We'll catch you next week. In the meantime, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.